Hello! Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. I go by Mechanical Beanstalk. I'm a variety streamer who tries to do more off-the-radar games, which includes games that have a very strong community presence or modded presence or indies or retros that need a little bit more time in the spotlight, and my Streamlabs just crashed. The mod, rather. The add-on. That's not that big a deal. We'll just keep on going. Anyways, hey, good morning. How's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. So yeah, we are going to be playing Rogue Trader today. I should also say like and follow and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch and all that jazz if you haven't already done so. On Sundays, we do our unofficial Warhammer 40,000 Sundays, so we play some Warhammer 40,000 games, RPGs, most likely. I have a lot of experience playing a lot of the Warhammer 40,000 tabletop RPGs, right? The role-playing games, kind of like a la Dungeons and Dragons. So I try to impart my knowledge about that setting, that subsetting too, right? So about the settings that take place in the tabletop RPGs and like character generation stuff. And we talk a little bit about the, that one side of the lore of the setting, right? So Warhammer 40,000, if you're unfamiliar with it, this is my kind of like short, brief introduction to it. But in the far off future of 40,000 plus, life is very cheap. Mankind's empire is very vast and bloated, covering like billions of people and millions of worlds across the entire galaxy. Faster than light travel and interstellar communications are achieved through traveling through the like hell, essentially. And yeah, if I didn't already say so, technology is very like kind of archaic, almost treated with a spiritual reverence, right? Everything's all oversized, overcomplicated, and it does grimdark. That's what a lot of times people reference grimdark from as Warhammer 40,000, but I like it specifically for the what I call the BDU factor. So BDU factor is big dumb universe, right? So a lot of settings out there have a really fine, excellent BDU, right? It sounds really like it sounds like bad when I say it like that, but yeah, Warhammer 40,000. I like the fact that sometimes you'll have a space orc time traveling back into the past and shooting his past self in the face just so he can get a copy of his own gun, so he can have two of the same guns of his favorite gun, right? Boop, 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 boop. So that's not really grimdark. It's just amazing. I love it. But yeah, like and follow and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to be going over to Rogue Trader, the cRPG, and I'll kind of go over like the basic rundown of, what we've been doing so far. We've been playing, this is our second campaign in Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. We're playing as Lord Captain Guppo of the Teawhistle dynasty, right? So we're using a mod called Toybox to add Ratlings into the game, and Ratlings in Warhammer 40. For a second I thought my mic wasn't working. I hate when that happens, but yeah, we added Ratlings into the game. We added a lot of Ratlings into our party. We changed a lot of companions so that they are Ratlings, and Ratlings in the only real difference that we have for Ratlings in Rogue Trader is that they have in the cRPG they have plus 10 perception, plus 10 dexterity, but negative 10 toughness and negative 10 strength. So pretty good if you know how to play it. And they're tiny. They're cute and tiny. But yeah, we are not we are the Teawhistle dynasty, as you can see under my portrait right now. This is our house crest. We got Lord Captain Guppo, right? He's going through a lot. He used to be kind of like a coward when we first started the campaign, and for some reason he doesn't have any of his weapons or gear on. I don't know what's going on. Probably a bug in the system, whatever. Let's actually get that out of the way. I think it was this one, hunting rifle. Not that he really needs it per se, but Lord Captain Guppo, he is an officer overseer, his build. He is a cyber eagle, is familiar as a cyber eagle, right? So it's all about, giving buffs to his allies and doing damage with his cyber eagle. Wasn't really how I initially intended him to play out, but it's working out pretty well, right? We did a very like Puritan campaign last time with our Space Viking King. So Captain Guppo, I kind of wanted to be more of like a heretical bent, or like see where the experience kind of takes me. So eventually we're going to kind of give him more sorceress powers, and we're going to, whenever possible, try to find him, have him go slowly closer and closer to the darkness. We'll see how things are going to like play out like that. But most are like, we have the the Fellowship of Fate or the Fellowship of Flies, whatever kind of like the adventuring party name you like the best. But we have Lord Captain Guppo. We have Halfling Solomorn, right? Solomorn is... We converted him over into a warrior archetype for his starting off archetype. He's still arbitrator, all that stuff. Mostly he just, the biggest thing is that he's going to be using a lot of charge abilities to kind of get around the battlefield, more so than his like standard build that you actually get in the vanilla campaign. He has his primary weapon is going to be a two-handed shotgun in one hand and a shield in the other. We have his... I don't think it actually shows it in this portrait, but Glado is now a cyber corgi instead of a typical cyber hound. We have Halfling J, was Ratling J, right? Look how tiny they are. She is a Blade Master Pistolier, right? So she's all about using Dark Eldar weapons to put down a lot of shots, more for debuff and a little bit of extra supplemental damage. And then she has a finesse trained Eldar weapon, right? So she goes in, she does a lot of damage based off of agility in one hand, the other one she kind of jumps around and does disabling stuff in the other, right? And she has a Weber for her back thing. So she does slows, she does stops, she does poisons, she does bleeds, right? We have big Space Eldar Earlet, so we changed Earlet into a heavy gunner this playthrough, and we have to kind of like go. She essentially I essentially just removed the Eldar tag so she can use so, and we respect her also, right? But essentially she's a heavy weapon expert instead of a sniper build. That's pretty much it. Yeah, she's a little buff, you know, kind of Amazonian kind of thing. Larger than a typical Eldar, so she can't wear a lot of Eldar armor, but she can use human, you know, stuff well enough because just her build. We have Halfling Idira, right? So Idira is just a cyber eagle or cyber raven overseer. Not much too unusual about this build. She just sends the cyber eagle to buff like groups. A cyber eagle is actually, I think, like for a psyker, especially for a healer and a buffer, like cyber raven is probably like the best way to go, because just being able to like go biomancy and heal like a group of people, like it's like infinitely useful. It's crazy. Finally, we have Yogan, the new character for the DLC. We're making him into a sniper. So he's not officer, it's operative, right? Operative, and I forget what the other archetype is, the one that like lays down like zones of like control. But we made him into a sniper. We're actually speccing into like energy sniper, like dark, like Eldar, sniper rifles, stuff like that. And yeah, we're just kind of playing it in. I don't think it's like any of the builds I made. I'm trying to make it so it's not like too OP based on like their character abilities that they get for free. Yeah, just kind of like looking for different ways to play. That's kind of where we're at right now. Hey, Saint, what's going on? The Mechanical Beans, how it goes, Goat? Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. I do chew grass every so often. And thank you for the greatest of all time compliment. I do appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. So I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well too, Saint. But yeah, that's the introduction out of there. We've been playing the latest DLC. We found out our ancestor was traveling the galaxy doing some like borderline heretical stuff, and we tracked his trail. We're trying to find like his hidden treasure and like resources, right? That he never was able to give back to the Teawhistle dynasty, right? Or what became the Teawhistle dynasty, right? So we've been trying that. We tracked him down to there was a planet overgrown with a megafauna creature. And a lot of like penal legionnaires. There's like colonists that were take from like a prison colony and press ganged into like fighting as an army, right? They developed their own colony. They were survivors and stuff. They were kind of like stranded on this world. So we were able to kill the monster that was actually causing him problems, and we found out that what we thought was the former resting place of our ancestor was not. His sarcophagus was, his tomb was empty, right? So we found a little bit of hints to go to elsewhere in the galaxy. Right now, I'm going to try to, just kind of sniff out his trail. And at the very least, we'll do some side quests today. Let's see, we'll do that. Let's see, I want to make sure every so often it does unassign my people in certain posts, right? So let's see here. We got some other halflings on the ship doing their own thing. Master of Maneuvers. And let's see here, 65. And this is where this guy right here with the dead eye, he's the pie romancer, right? He's a psychic halfling that makes my, Captain Guppo's pies, right? That's a head canon. That's canon to our campaign, okay? Let's see here. I think, yeah, that's good. But yeah, they probably fixed that bug where it like sometimes unassigns characters. But yeah. One of the things also we typically do on unofficial Warhammer 40,000 Sundays, like I said before, we talked about Warhammer 40,000 lore. We generally have like sometimes a little bit of discussion about the mechanics of the tabletop RPG. Last week we talked about doing non-traditional Warhammer 40,000 sci-fi characters in Warhammer 40,000 if you're role-playing in the setting. I made the case that Rogue Trader, although it seems very intimidating, and the 30 plus years of lore in Warhammer 40,000 is intimidating for new players to get into. Rogue Trader specifically, your character doesn't have to know about the Imperium or about anything about the setting itself, right? Like it does exist. Like I know the tagline for Warhammer 40,000 is that in the far off future there is only war. Not necessarily the case. There are cases where there are planets that are like secluded away from the rest of the Imperium, rest of the galaxy. They're hard to get through various means. Stellar anomalies, warp anomalies. Warp routes are kind of difficult to get to. They're kind of off in the boondocks, and they're just lucky enough to be peaceful. It does happen, right? So, and you do actually have so the biggest thing about being part of the Imperium of Man in this setting is it is kind of a totalitarian regime. A while back I heard someone on Reddit make a point that the Imperium is totalitarian. Its themes. It's not a totalitarian regime. What was it? He made a point saying there was it was a theocratic republic, right? With totalitarian tendencies, right? And I agree with that, actually, because the Imperium at large, so the biggest thing, like, one of the things that, like, you always have to follow the Imperium Man, you follow the cult of the God Emperor, right? If you're a human civilization that is subsumed into the Imperium, that's one of the requirements, right? But there is something even more important, and I made this very strongly last time. The stronger rule that they impose upon all the worlds, you pay your taxes, the Imperial tithe. Like, if you have a problem with like cultists on your planet, you deal with that, right? But if you haven't paid your taxes, they come for you, and they will do anything possible, the Imperium, to get the wealth flowing back on track, right? Even if it's like some weird like accounting error where some administrative expert that was in charge of your planet back on Terra, Earth, drops dead at his desk and forgets to file the necessary paperwork before he died. So like your tithe is a lot more than you can really sustain. The Imperium doesn't give a shit, right? They will come for you and they'll take it. They'll take all your resources and make sure you do pay that tithe, that tax, maybe even a penalty, right? And even if it leaves you with nothing to survive, for your civilization to survive, they will kill you in order to get your taxes. That's how important it is, more so than following the creed, right? With that said, you can have like a Star Trek civilization or a Star Wars civilization that have like different views, different policies in the Imperium, and they won't F with you. It is possible. So with that said, short story long, right? We made a Captain Picard character. We made a backstory for last week about a federation, like how that would like work, right? I think it was mostly like we didn't make him a rogue trader. We made him a seneschal in the tabletop RPG rules, right? Whenever we have a little bit of like time where there's a like extra long like load screens or there's a time between quests, we'll talk a little bit about the tabletop role playing game stats. And today we're going to actually design the Enterprise in the tabletop role-playing game. So it'll be fun, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about my point about introducing new players to this kind of setting, right? Saint, say, Mechanical Bean, what's a Magos Explorator? What's a Magos Explorator come the end of it? I never read part of the lore. So explorators, without actually looking at the book, so explorators are I think it's just they're supposed to go out and find new technology. They're kind of like there are rogue traders that are taken from the Mechanicus Creed worlds, like Forge worlds and stuff like that, right? But explorers are kind of like the version of rogue traders for the Adeptus Mechanicus. Like they're part of the exploratory fleets where they kind of go outside the Imperium's borders. They're supposed to find archaeotech, stuff like that. It's pretty simple. There's not much to it. They can be under a number of different disciplines, because in explorators in the tabletop RPG, they can have you can have Medicae, you can have Lore Imperium, you can have Lore Mechanicus, like all sorts of different lores, right? So you could be a biologist, you can be a lot of different things. But the tagline for an explorator is that you're just you explore and you find more technology. That's your dealio. Unrelated, don't let me disrupt the flow. No, it's okay. This is like how I want to run it. Feel free to talk about it. So let's go back to the game. Master Helmsman Ravor. Our augurs seem to have gone mad, Lord Captain. Every reading contradicts the next, and their data is in disarray. Either this is some new anomaly, or someone really doesn't want to be found. Irrelate. This is how Asuriani... Yeah, the portrait sometimes turns back. That's fine. This is how Asuriani cloaking system work, Elantak. The ships of my people are unwilling to make contact with outside observers. I believe there are good reasons for this. Heinrichs. I've seen such misses before. Typically, I need to, find a way to get Heinrichs, out my airlock since I'm so heretical. I've seen such misses before. Typically, they're followed by frightening reports of Eldari attacks. Be cautious, Lord Captain. I always are. Heinrichs. Oh, no, we're romancing Jay, also. Xenos, Eldari in particular, like to hide their dark deeds behind such technology shrine. Why don't we take a peek at them? Yes. Move closer. Try to contact the anomaly. Wrath of Cain. After a few long seconds, a humanly melodic voice answers you. Do not come any closer, Monkey. You must not interfere in our search. The ancient enemy lies dormant, but we shall find him and claim our revenge. Leave now, or we'll be forced to attack. Lore Xenos 100%. What are you seeking revenge for? I should probably say, whenever Captain Guppo does does send a visual transmission of his ship, kind of like the bridge view, it's always angled in a way to make him appear larger than he actually is. For the demise of the great warlord who once clashed with the enemy in our very sector, Cain himself deigned to guide his hand, bestowing his own sword upon him. Yet even that was not enough. Interesting. So this is our ancestor had that sword, right? So interesting. Just kind of a side note, it's weird. I ran on multiple different campaigns of Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, and one of the legendary weapons that I actually had was it's weird. I built up the lore for it and all that stuff. And I forgot its name. It was so important to my campaign, but it was a legendary sword that was actually looted from. It was forged from looted. It's the 10 swords of Vol, right? So in the lore, in the Eldar lore, right? I think it was. I think I might be getting some of the backstory just wrong, just a little bit. But the story goes in the lore of their deities is that the god of war and the god of smiths, right? I think the god of war was going to punish the Eldar for something, and the god of smiths a promise to give him 10 swords or of exquisite quality in order to stay the guy's hand so he wouldn't murder a bunch of Eldar mortals, right? And I think somehow one of the mortal a mortal sword ended in the cache of weapons, right? Or something like that. Yeah, that's right. It was something like that. It was, and then of course there was a falling out between them. And I think actually, I don't know if Cain murdered Vol or Vol was almost killed through that exchange. But essentially the the artifacts in that story, they're kind of like in my campaign. They were all around, and a lot of the Imperium kind of looted certain Eldar worlds, and they murdered a bunch of Eldar, and they used a lot of the swords of Vol to make this like super sword with like technology and stuff like that. But like I can't remember. I can never remember the name. It's so funny whenever I think about that. So I'm not sure if this is just one of. Well, it says like it's Kane's sword. I don't know if it's just like one of the avatars of Kane, or actually Kane himself, when he was striding the galaxy, actually had a sword that it's talking about. I have no desire to face. Okay, so Captain Guppo knows that it's the same sword. We won't tip our hand just yet, but I have no desire to face this ancient enemy, whomever it is. I don't know who it is. How may I help you? Leave, Monkey. Deldari's voice is a matter of fact. I could kill him. I think if I fight, I think the battle is like kind of tough. So leave. I'll leave for now. You're surrounded by kilometers of plasteel ferro-creating humans, but you can still feel them watching you, following you to the furthest point within the system. Okay, that's fine. Ooh, thanks. Well. Find nice grass for you. Thank you. Meh. Okay. Sure. Yeah, I think that was actually a pretty tough fight, so I don't need to fight everything. I kind of like getting experience. Uh-oh. I think Rogue Trader's crashing. Hopefully you guys are still around. Oh. We okay? Okay. It was crashing for a second. Weird. Anyways, hopefully you guys are still around. I know I had the internet yesterday when we did our Lisa stream was like so bad, man. I was kind of worried that the modem might be busted, but I don't know. So far everything seems to be running okay. Seems to be coming through. So, Ice World, okay, get trophies, good. I haven't really worked on a lot of like side quests and got a lot of like colonies. I should probably do colonies either today or do in my off time, because I need to build up my reputation, and there's a lot of rewards I need to get. I think it's like the Explorators or the Pirate faction has an Eldar sniper, no, an Eldar heavy weapon that I need to get for Earlet. But Saint, heard that the internet has been spotty for the weather. Huh, interesting. I think it's just like because I have Xfinity over in the States, over in California, so they're always bad. It's like they have a reputation for just being just terrible, but I don't know. Everything's kind of a monopoly, so who knows. So Savannah World. Okay, so we can hunt beasts and get some food. Interesting. We have 8 cans of food. We have 6 extractium. I think I'll leave it for now. I'll save up my extractors. We'll mine for rhinoceroses and space elephants. Where are you going? Go down here. Begin scan. Gas giant. Okay. Cool. Gas giant. Sure. I gotta remember also that you can actually give the data over to a person on Footfall and get a little bit of like money. Ooh, oh, lots of stuff. What's this? Rocky World. What's this? The planet, riddled with huge tunnels, resembles an anthill of gigantic proportions. Even looking down on the eerie landscapes chills the blood. The ship's augers do not detect any signs of life on the surface. Augers, 40k term for sensors. Scan the planet, send an expedition. So scan first. The entire surface of the planet is a lifeless gray rock, but the atmosphere is breathable without a void suit. Okay. In some deep tunnels, strangely shaped chalky sediments have been found. Well, of course we're going to explore it. That's our job, right? We're rogue traders are privateering merchant princes. I didn't even say that during my introduction, but rogue traders are privateering merchant princes. They have like a writ of trade to kind of go out and do whatever they want in order to make found their own stellar empire. But that stellar empire has to kind of expand the borders of the Imperium itself and donate resources back to the Imperium. That's kind of what the Imperium gets out of it. But you get to be a space explorer in order to be a rogue trader, which is cool. And you also kind of, whenever you are outside the Imperium's borders, you can kind of, you're a law unto yourself. You convey that to your close crew. So like other players are like Adonises in their own craft, and they have their own the writ to kind of do whatever they want because it's their part of your close retinue, right? The scouts wander through the huge empty tunnels for a long time, sending infrequent, mostly uneventful reports back to the bridge until communication with one of the first groups is cut off. It's like every single time. The Vox can simply no longer pick up the right frequency. Send another team to the missing group's location, dispatch an armed squad to the missing group's location. I don't know why I wouldn't want to send an armed squad, but I would say that's protocol. Dispatch an armed squad. The armed soldiers nearly shoot the missing team members who come out to meet them. They also report that inside the tunnels are the remains of a camp, apparently belonging to an Imperial expedition. That might be my ancestor. For several kilometers ahead, the tunnels are filled with time-worn fortifications and ancient weapons and equipment as fragile as glass. The scouts are surprised to find several hastily assembled stone barrows. The people who spent time in these tunnels have probably already found everything they wanted, buried their dead, and left the planet. Items received grav core circuit. Okay. Okay, it's a bionic. This expansion, this DLC adds bionics. You replace your body parts, right? This user gains +1 stack of anti-grav charge for each cell they move. Okay, sure. When the number of stacks on the user becomes agility bonus. Wait, what? When the number of stacks on the user becomes agility bonus, all of them are removed. So like if you get as much as your agility bonus, they're removed and you gain 1 stack of potential energy. Okay. For every 1 AP spent, this is just, it says Yogan, but it's probably anyone. Gets 1 second potential energy. These stacks are used to activate Yogan's unique abilities such as Galvanic Field. Maybe it is Yogan. Each stack increases all energy and shock damage dealt by Yogan by intelligence bonus. Okay, interesting. The user cannot suffer the crippled leg effect. Okay, it's probably just a Yogan specific thing. Interesting. Same things all. The best mining operations use the cutest space elephants. Yes, of course. That's how you like. I mean, the BDU, the BDU factor on this is that like you would use 40k technology to mine for stuff that you wouldn't think you want to mine for, like an entire hill full of like some sort of, plasmatic raspberry jam, What do we got? Yeah! Ooh, what do we have here? Hallow targeting cogitator. Oh, what's this? Diamantine armor plating. What's this? Auxiliary plasma banks. Oh my lord. So much trash. I love it. Okay. I love trash, actually. Trash, trash, trash. Yum, yum, yum. Let's see. Go out. I don't think it's specific. I think like one of the side quests that is for the DLC that we have to wait on it. I forget exactly what happens, but I think they're like studying some like archive or something like that. So I think just like exploring a little bit, doing some side quests that are not necessarily DLC eventually will help us out. I don't want to use any of my exploration tokens, so I'll just kind of risk. I'll risk having something horrible happening. Like I said, when faster light travel, you go through a dimension called the warp, which is the warp is all the combined sentient like thoughts and feelings of all the sentient creatures in the galaxy, right? And in this era of the galaxy, it's for like countless eons. It hasn't always been the case, but for countless years, all the warp is kind of corrupted, right? So a lot of the mental energy that is being amassed inside the warp are negative stuff, like fears, hate, stuff like that. Like the repressed feelings and emotions. of everyone in the galaxy is inside the warp, right? And the beings that actually became sentient, the gods of the warp that became sentient, their essence is of that stuff. So they all their goals are to get more repressed feelings and fears and whatnot, right? So like, because like that makes them stronger, right? That's what they feed on. So the warp just kind of feeds onto itself and gets worse and worse and worse. So yeah, you definitely want to, you go through there. It's an energy dimension. It doesn't have like physical laws, so you can kind of circumvent a lot of the laws of reality if you kind of manipulate it. But at the same time, it can have a very corrupting influence on you. And it does like some pretty horrific stuff in the novels. So let's see here. 3, 2, sure. Whee! A warp breach. Ungodly fiends spreading sorcerer's disease walk the lower decks, gathering a cohort of infected voidsmen. If no measures are taken immediately, an entire bay could be turned into a den of heresy. I don't want to necessarily... Let's see. This is going to be the zombie scenario where you're just fighting waves of zombies. I don't want to give away a lot of my stuff, but... what do we got? Armor kit. Yeah, I can do this because I can always give... The crew will receive military gear and a chance to prove their worth by dispatching the Lord Captain's enemies. I cannot be bothered by dealing with some warp-based scum sneaking onto my bellies of my ship. Have someone deal with that. The victory with the Rogue Trader's enemies came with a huge price. Still, the decks have been cleansed of warp spawn, albeit it took the blood of hundreds of voidsmen to wash away any evidence of their presence. That's okay. Come on, when are we going to be there? Are we there yet? Okay, we have to do it again. Okay, I just don't want to use any of my my tokens. Oh, I used it. Never mind. I'm just clicking on random stuff. Voxmaster 50. Lord Captain, the Master at Arms has reported disturbances in the vicinity of Sector Bionica. Okay, so this is probably a continuation of the storyline. You hear the tactfully disguised disquiet in the Voxmaster's voice. The rabble from the lower decks have blocked the exits, demanding that you appear before them. How dare they make a command to their captain? Okay, we'll see. Say mechanical beings. What's the worst to fight? Chaos Marines from which god? Good question. It depends on the scenario, but Chaos Marines, I would say, I think the least, like people are gonna like at me, but I think the least scary in a lot of ways would probably be Khorne. Not to say they're not scary individual, but Khorne, you have a chance that they'll just kill you outright. Whereas there's less of a chance of the other gods, right? I guess the next least scariest would probably be Nurgle in some ways. Although you can like die horrifically in a lot of pain, you might just be converted. Like it might just annihilate your brain. So you're just like, oh, I'm diseased. I'm so happy. La 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 la. Actually, that might be. It depends. They might be tied for like the least scary because you have a chance of just like not suffering. You have a greater chance of not suffering, right? I think I'm going to probably say Slaanesh is probably going to be the most horrible one. I consider Slaanesh is the most evil chaos god, like knowingly evil. It's not like more so that it's just like the nature of the chaos god makes them do the evil things they do. Like Slaanesh is all about, of course, like excess and debauchery, but it's also like it builds Slaanesh and the following of Slaanesh. It's all about, how do I say this? I know I had like a sentence formed in my head, my brain meets, but Slaanesh is like it's all about excess, and it's all about kind of like draining every amount of joy you have. Like you take your senses and your things you love to the extreme, to the point where you're just numb to it, right? And like Slaanesh kind of destroys everything you love and eventually destroys all your drive before just kind of mutating you or giving you away as a trophy to another cultist to repeat the process. Chaos Gods don't give a shit about their followers, right? They would prefer it to all of their, just the constant chain of suffering forever, because that's what feeds them, right? Like, of course, they'll reward the Chaos Gods and give them, like, ascend them to, like, demonhood, but, like, that doesn't really benefit them as much as just, like, making sure, like, everyone kind of suffers in the end, because that suffering is going to feed them, right? But, like, I think Slaanesh would probably be long answer to your short question. I think Slaanesh would be the most scariest, because it's least likely that you're going to be killed outright, and more likely that you're either going to put through an incredible amount of suffering for someone else's benefit, or you're going to lose everything you know and love in some nefarious way. Like, you can be put in like a scenario where you feel like there is hope to escape, but like the idea of you all constantly being afraid is the whole point of the exercise, right? And to turn a bit against the loved ones in order, kind of like a Saw thing, like the challenges from the series Saw. That's something that gives the Slaanesh followers their drive, right? So yeah, it's Slaanesh, I'd say. Saint, thanks. I'm drafting a Road Trader campaign, so forgive my endless. Don't worry about it. You don't have to apologize whatsoever. I like doing this. I like talking to you. Okay, so down dare they. Yokasta Sarbek. Sabek! Again, you fail me, Sabek! What is up with all these uprisings? The enforcers await your orders. The Ring of Steel in Jocasta Sarbek's tone eloquently signals her readiness for battle. Give the order and all those troublemakers will be immediately subdued. What do they want, Vigdis? According to reports received, the work of the Medicaid officers in Sector Bionica has caused the commotion among the workers. It appears the rabble are seeking to access sacred augmentations. Okay, the last thing I remember from this quest line was that Yogan was... I don't know if it's necessarily the main quest line, but Yogan's quest line was like he was trying to make a good soldier, I think it was, or like a good servant to the Imperium by like... augmenting a soldier a certain way, right? See access to sacred augmentations. The rabble have forgotten their Lord Captain's visage. I shall refresh their memory. As you wish, Lord Captain. Yeah, I'd say that goes into Captain Guppo's character. He'll go down there on. I picture, this isn't really an option, but he'll have like a little palanquin where he'll be propped up on like a platform with a lot of comfy pillows and pies. You have his coat unbuttoned, so you see his belly. And he has this kind of like, kind of a malevolence in his eyes, slightly fallen to chaos. And I'll go, damn you, peasants! I do so much for this dynasty, and this is how you repay me? I'm going to crack some skulls. But, yeah. It's funny, all the players that I've had for my campaigns, like, they understand Warhammer 40,000, like, it's a dark universe. Sometimes you have to crack a few heads in order to get things done on a ship. But mostly they all treat their crew, like, really, really nice. Like the NPC crew. It's very rare that I get people who are just like, you know what, I'm just going to shoot this guy in order to get the message across. Sector Bionica. Do. Load times are so bad for this game. Go! Okay. So they want the sacred augmentations for themselves? Is that what's going on? The noise of procession, smelling of sacred unguents and sweat, falls silent as soon as you appear. Those at the head of the crowd step forward, one of them waving this wrap stump of his right arm, while another gawps at you with his one eye. The Medicaid officer, shielded by a line of enforcers, also stare in your direction. Foreman. Lord Captain, you came! The one-eyed man hesitates and bows awkwardly. We have a request, a petition, to authorize augmentation of workers below the rank of junior officers in the Sector Bionica due to the need increase the efficiency of the workforce. He blurts out the obviously memorized word in a rapid stream and adds peevishly, the vermin don't want to give us iron arms and legs, but we just want to work for the good of you and the God Emperor. Solomorn. A fairly standard start to mutiny. Yeah. Solomorn appears bored, but the barrel of his shotgun resting on his forearm is casually pointed at the one-eyed man. First they want to increase efficiency, and then those who disagree with begin to disappear, and now rampaging locals are already stringing up their own from the nearest girder. What do the experts from the Sector Bionica think? He's like very pro worker, I would say, right? Vivisector Martinax. Of course, such privileges for the lower decks are unprecedented. Yet these people are the lifeblood of the ship, Lord Captain. However, they're low standing in the social hierarchy. Allowing augmentation in lower decks will enable workers to toil longer and will help with older crew members remain sound of mind and pass on the experience to younger generations. I advise you to grant the request. It will only strengthen your crew. Genitor Ferenz. I insist upon rejection of the request. Augmentation is a sacred gift of the Omnissiah that requires careful monitoring and maintenance. The Sector Bionica's resources are finite. I mean, that's true. And as such, our focus must be on servicing the key life forms among the crew. I mean, that is true. If you want to look at it through a utilitarian perspective, like a lot of the lesser crew are given really shitty bionics. But even then, you don't have enough to outfit 10,000 people. I mean, I'm assuming. For a rogue trader, Captain Guppo is kind of poor. Violating the established directive and wastefully distributing the gift of augmentations among the unworthy would be an outrage to Omnissiah and a barely tolerated by the tech priests aboard this vessel. One thing you actually have to roleplay into is that you do have to do a lot of politicking in your own ship. It is a city, right? So if you're looking, if you're a player in this scenario, and, you can say, okay, yeah, I can see their point. I do have enough profit factor to buy crappy bionics for, all my crew, so they won't be limping around. But the thing is also, you have to think of, there also are a lot of Forge World aligned or Tech Priest aligned crew members who will see it as an affront to their religion, right? So then you might get low productivity on their sides, right? And then you have to think about, well, I mean, this city has operated on this for decades, if not centuries, right? So why the change now, right? So I don't know. It's kind of I guess one of the things is it's kind of like why I want to play a Planescape game in my next campaign, in a pen and paper RPG. It's because in storylines like that, you kind of at the table you talk about your friends and not perfect lines of philosophy, but it kind of interesting thought exercises. They're not kind of go beyond typical morals. But yeah, Kavita, hey Kavita, how's it going, dude? You streamed at 2 a.m. yesterday where I live. Oh, I'm sorry. Yesterday was kind of weird. Yesterday I had to get my garage door fixed at my house, and then the stream just kept on kapooting over and over again. It was horrible streaming yesterday. I mean, I uploaded the video eventually, but we barely got anything out. I say that they have been operating like that for hundreds of years. Why now? I don't think Captain Guppo. I don't think Captain Guppo would entertain his idea, right? Maybe I'll. Captain Guppo. I think that Captain Guppo would hear them out, at least. He's here, right? Very well, crewmen. I will want to hear your arguments. Why would the workers be granted access to sacred implants? The one-armed worker steps forward, pushing the one-eyed man aside. One of the lads, a voidsman soldier who got his skull crushed, came to working in the lower decks after treatment not long ago. With his new metal head, he's working harder than ever. Yay! Oh wait, is that the guy we fixed? Okay, so because we made an exception Okay. If they let us poor sods put some hardware in, we work even better than the healthy ones. We total day and night for the good of the dynasty. The officers say it's not allowed, but you can do anything, even lift the ban. Be merciful, Lord Captain. Genitor Ferens. The request is unacceptable. I predicted that augmenting the Voidsman soldier's life form above the established baseline would cause the utility life forms to develop a distorted perception of their individual value. That is irrationally inflated. The hiss of the Genitor's vox can barely be heard over the murmuring of the crowd. Yeah, just use your primitive prosthetics. Is be a fair like those who run and denied the rest. No. See, the problem in this kind of scenario is that you did give a crewman who is like above and beyond, like the augments. But if he's mixed in with these people, he might foster some jealousy, right? So we might actually find, and like whenever we talk, like I said, this is why I kind of like talking about the thought exercises about like in-universe decisions of like Warhammer 40,000 and like other kind of like darker settings. It's like how to make the best of your, I guess it is kind of utilitarian, isn't it? How to make just the best of your scenario. But they probably would, I mean, after this, they probably are going to like, I feel like they're going to, I don't know, the guy that we gave the cerebral augmentation to, he's very respected. So maybe they won't kill him and pull out his mechanical brain. Who knows? I have come to a decision. The workers will continue to make do with primitive prosthetics. The omniscience gifts are intended for officers only. Not for the greater crew. They have done so for hundreds of years, and they will continue to do so. Your words caused the crowd to fall silent. The two crippled men who came forward looked blankly at each other before beginning to back away warily. May the Omnissiah bless the rogue trader. This is not going to go well. Well, it's not going to go well no matter what. I mean, he did have a point, like earlier when he talked to us about augmenting that crewman. But, you know, it is what it is. We got Ferens. Look at that. Okay. May the Omnissiah bless the rogue trader's sound judgment. The Genitor focuses his multiple visors on you and bows his head. Not one of his mechanical eyes dignifies the vivisector with even a glance. Okay. Rest of Sector Bionica completed. That's fine. Do we have any other... we have stuff. We have loot.
Stand in my way.
Yes! Yes! Go through this trash can! Yes, in the far future, there is only trash. Ah, yes, a half-eaten sandwich for Captain Guppo. He probably would actually eat that, actually. I mean, Captain Guppo has become more brave, but he also is still a kind of a... He's still a Ratling at heart, you know? Kavita. Anyways, got to skedaddle. I have to study for a math exam. Oh, good luck on your math exam, Kavita.
It's about time.
Okay. Avoid your bridge. Just another day, another dollar. Let's see here. I think I might have... Do I have enough time to... Okay, let's switch over while it's loading. I'll try to make this quick. But let's go... Boop, 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 boo, do, 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 do. Let's go over to internets really quick. And let's go over to Rogue Trader. So, okay, so what we did last week, right? We made a Captain Picard character or a Star Trek style character in as a player character in the pen and paper Rogue Trader. I should also say I really love the artwork in Rogue Trader. It's just amazing. Great, amazing game. If you can find like the PDF or like an inexpensive copy, I mean, like the Rogue Trader, like a physical copy of Rogue Trader these days goes for like maybe $150. It's like crazy. But I think that's on the cheap side now that I think about it. But it's probably better just to get like a PDF and just like print it out these days. That's what I would recommend. But I think, let's see here. One of these books actually does have a ship character generation. I think it's Into the Storm, right? So this is the main expansion book. If you do try to get into Rogue Trader, the pen and paper RPG, two books I would recommend picking up, however versions you want to do it, would be the core rulebook and Into the Storm. That's all you really need. But I would definitely recommend picking up Into the Storm just because it has pretty much everything. I think it has some psychic powers. It has character building options. It has gear. It has a new it has two Xenos classes, right? It has Kroot, it has a Kroot character, and it has an Orc Freebooter character, right? It has vehicle rules, right? And I think it actually has some ship generation rules also. So let's actually see if we can find that really quick. Acquisition contacts, warrant knows. Cronus Couriers, extended armory, vehicles. I feel like families and dynasties, starship, whole ship and background packages. I think, yeah. I think it is, was it 148? I'm pretty sure that, so in the normal Rogue Trader core rulebook, there is not the same kind of like tiered system of like building your starship. Generally, what the game system wants you to do is it wants you to sit down with the rest of the players and together you build your starship, right? Like what kind of you start off with a profit factor, which is like a something you could actually roll on a D100, like 2D10, and it kind of like shows you like if whether or not you're a very wealthy dynasty that has very little in terms of like ship resources, or the opposite, right? But if you go be very poor, you can potentially get like a very strong starship, and some of these starships are pretty cuckoo crazy that you can actually get. But one thing that Into the Storm does, I think it actually gives you tags that you can actually slap onto your ship that gives it more like backstory, right? And it gives a little bit more, yeah, background packages. I think there's more to that. I'd have to kind of delve into it, but we'll come back into this a little bit later in the stream. We'll kind of come back and we'll try to design the Enterprise, like what it would be and what you need to actually play the Enterprise. And like, it's like say if you're starting a Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader campaign that's set in like almost like a Star Trek themed section of the universe. I think it's possible. I guess this is just more of a thought exercise on my part, but I guess the kind of a loose tertiary goal would just be to help a bunch of people out there who do not know about Warhammer 40,000 be comfortable about jumping into it from that angle. Does that make sense? So, anyways, boop, go back to the game and save. So we'll go and we'll explore a little bit more. Abelard, look at it. The goat right there. The grass-chewing goat himself. That's what he has inside. Actually, what did we say? We had, like last campaign, we were joking that Abelard was always eating Snickers and candy when we weren't looking. I forget why that came about. I don't think he's like that like heavy. Chart new routes. Okay, boop. Okay, visit. But that was like an ongoing joke that we had last campaign. We haven't really done Sister Argenta in this campaign or the next. I don't know. Like, a part of me does want to do another campaign. Like after... Ooh, space battle. Okay. Definitely save. Part of me does want to do another campaign, like after we finish this one. I kind of wanted to do like a navigator themed ship, or I don't know, something else. I think we had a few ideas about what kind of different things to do aside from like a, space halfling. But yeah, the final DLC that we're going to be getting for Rogue Trader is going to give a like Space Hulk, like randomized dungeon theme stuff, and a new companion. It doesn't sound like it's going to be a Xenos character, which I'm really disappointed in. But I don't know. I think essentially what I think is that we still have a lot of content to go through in our Space Halfling campaign. I think what we're going to probably run into is that Dark Heresy is going to come in before we finish Rogue Trader, and then maybe after we play through Dark Heresy and stuff like that, we can kind of like do sub out for Rogue Trader, maybe do another campaign, something like that. But yeah, space battle. What's going on? Interesting. Oh, I got coffee. Coffee! Give me my calf. I ran out of chicory root for my coffee. I like to make my coffee like New Orleans style, where you mix some like dried chicory root inside the coffee grounds, and gives it it eliminates a lot of the acidity, but not like too much. Gives a nice like smooth flavor, like a lot of the New Orleans coffee you get in.
This will be exciting.
Okay, well they're all chaos. Ooh, raiders. Okay, interesting. Oh, there are a lot of raiders. How many ships? Oh, they're ramming? Okay, that's interesting. Never actually seen them ram before. And they got through our shields. Interesting. What is happening, man? They are really aggressive. This is a lot of raiders. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Interesting. Wait, how many are there? What is going on? This is like so many. If Infidel class raider, I don't know if that's in the. I have rules for that in the Rogue Trader PDFs. Oh my god. They can't even move. Wait, that can't be right. Okay. So the Heartless is going to support me. What am I going to do? Safe is what I'm going to do. Yeah, I can do... We can do a shallow jump. We can do warp wave, which I can actually get this guy out of the way. And then I can do boop. Oops. Okay, I kind of thought that would probably happen. That's fine. Let's do torpedo. And I probably should have... Let's see here. I don't think I can make a swing. I'm thinking that they have more maneuverability like raiders than I do, so they'll probably go make a wide turn on that, so I can do just a really sharp turn, go past them, and then go straight through maybe the asteroid field, and then come back and like hit them straight like that. Let's see here. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll do like this. Okay. They still have shields. We can... Oh, no! Let's see. Wait. I got it. Hold up. Do boop. Okay, then I can do boop. And I can do dupe. And then do... Let's see what we got. 64% damage. Do... this. Okay. And then we want to do the thing that we want to do. I don't know what to do. We can go this way. And I think the problem with going this way... I don't think... I kind of want to... should I go this way? So I want to see if I can get, like... I don't know if I can get port. So if I go here, I can hit him with my port side, but then he'll probably explode and deal damage to me. So... I can go, like, here... Or, like, here... Yeah, here, and then I'll do... enhanced shields on my starboard side. Restart shields. Do I have my shields up? How many shields do I have? Doesn't see. Okay. Shields are weakened on my... No, it is starboard side. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, that's all I can do. Oh, there's a heavy cruiser somewhere? Where is it? Ho 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 ho! Where are you? Wait, where? What the? Where'd you come from? Okay, that's not fun. Uh-oh. A little bit wary about this now. Wait, can he actually shoot me? Okay. That's fine. Gonna be trying to run me down. Morning! Hey, DRS. What's going on? How's life? What? Come on. I have reinforced shields. Okay. So I could try to kill these guys. If I kill one of them, they'll get all of them. Okay. Save. I can do... Saving... Here... Yes. Okay, that did not go as well as I thought it would go. That's fine, though. Where is the big kahuna? He's like, kind of far away. Man, I'm actually a little bit nervous. All I need to do is just kill this guy. So... Let's see here. Almost, but not quite. Boop. 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 Oh, man. So I can do that. It's still not enough. I don't think that's going to be enough. Maybe. Let's. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go this way because it's going to be further away from their main ship. Okay, so like that. Okay, so boop.
Another salvo!
Drop her shields. Boop, 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 boop. Can I kill him? Not quite. Okay. Okay, let's just get out of here. I can do... Okay, overloads the enemy shields, redistributing them on with the weakest side facing the flagship. If the enemy has a hollow field, loses shoulder charges. No. Can I do... Okay. So I go all the way here. I'll do rear shields. I can do a swing run. Let's see. Boop. Rear shields. And I can do actually shallow jump. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And I think they still take damage from asteroid field, so I can loop around here next turn. I just want to get as far away from this ship as possible. Oh, it's lumbering towards me. They shouldn't have enough range to hit me. There's no way, right? Hopefully I can... I feel like oh, there we go. Okay, well, there's one. Ooh, whoa, how do you get so close? Fuck. I don't know. I might not be strong enough for this fight. Let's see here. I can do... Oh, is this not... I don't have enough room. Okay. I do want to make them come through here if I can. So I can do swing run.
Destination logged in.
Okay. Do boop. Boop boop boo. Okay, can I do... I think I messed up. No, okay, I'm good. Can I do... Oh, it's such a low range. And then... Yeah. Ah, fuck. I feel like I kind of messed up a little bit. Let's do... this. I don't know if that's going to help. I'm not really sure if, like, I should just come back for this fight or not. Probably. I feel like whenever... My memory's so bad, if I leave the fight, I probably won't remember to come back in another stream. No! No! Saint, Mechanical Beam. What order of the Inquisition would you join, and why would that be? And would that be those guys at Civil War over the hour? What order of the Inquisition would you join, and why would that be those guys at Civil War over the hour? If I understand your question right, what order? Just at order, not faction. So I would say, what order would I join? I don't know, because like if I was in like Warhammer 40k, like my mentality would like be totally different. But I would say, I don't know. That's a good question. I think that I would probably consider being like the Ordo Xenos, because I'd be more likely to get off-world. It depends on like my ranking and stuff like that. If I'm just like an asset, I would probably join the Ordo Xenos. If I had the choice, right? Then I can get off world. I'm less likely to be. I mean, I could always, if you join the Order Hereticus, you might get put into like a noble house as like a spy, right? So you might actually live decently enough. But I have a feeling like, even though you might get put into a scenario where in an Ordo Xenos where you might go up against some horrific like Cthulhu like alien. There's still a good chance you might get just in general, you just might get put as like a scholar. You're like just an asset. You just get put in the sidelines. But I feel like getting out of like typical Imperial politics and like a typical Imperial world, because you might, if you're in the Order Hereticus and you're an asset, you might just be like left to your own devices. You might be in the exact same position you started in, and you're just supposed to like feed information to the Inquisition, right? So you might be like if you have a shitty job in an Imperial world and you're just like there for the rest of your life, it might not change anything with the Ordo Hereticus, but with the Ordo Xenos, it's less likely you're going to stay there. I feel like you'd be plucked up, and you have a chance of seeing something interesting, I would say. Oh, Stream Boo, you're back. Yay, Stream Boo. I have to have like a notice whenever Stream Boo comes in. Let's see. But let's see. Boo, boo, boo. Torpedo. Let's see here. Can I do... How to do this? I think I'll do this guy. What? Okay, that didn't work. Okay, that's fine. I'm so good at this game. I'm so good at this game. Okay, I can't hit this guy. I'm so good at this game. I'm so good at this game. 4 shots, 21 damage. 3 shots, 33. So I want to go this way. I'm so good. Oh. Oh, no. Wait, can I do... let's see. Yes. Pull up. Work wave. No! No! I need to actually... Oh, it's too far away. Fudge. I need to save it. I need to save this for next turn. Okay, I just wasted it. That was a couple bad shots. Anyways. Can I do... Boop. And I can do... Boop.
Fire the last battery.
Okay. And I can do... Boop. Boop. And I can do boop. Can kind of inch in here. Shallow jump. No. One more. Yeah, okay, that should kill him. Okay, so I could go here. I think I will. I got to get away from this big guy as much as I can. And up. And then... I can't do back shields? Okay, whatever. 38, 17. Oh my god. Sure. Right side, reinforce. Oh, I can do shallow jump again. I kind of want to get away. Yeah, it's more important. So I don't get just like dogpiled on these guys. What are you doing? Leave me alone! Eh? I don't think... Yeah, you can't shoot us. Ah, come on! I don't think I'm going to get shot this turn. I feel like part of me says I can win this fight. Hit! Thank God. Okay. I feel like I can win. I just have to play it safe. Let's see here. Okay, how about goo 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 goo. Oh no! Okay. So I can actually do another warp jump. Can do this. Okay. Oh no, I didn't do that right. Oh, that's fine. Okay. Boop. Do like boop. And then boop. And then I can do a couple things. I can do boop, and then boop, and I can do boop, and then boop. What? Wait, why can't I do this? It's supposed to eliminate the cooldown. You stupid. I don't like you. Stop it. Okay, I can do it on this one. Cool. It's worth it. Sure. Okay, I just have to, yeah. Okay, I just have to keep away from it. No! What?
Hey, the shields seem to be broken.
God, the range is so far. Okay, and there's no, I don't think I can do this. If at the beginning of combat, I didn't take so much damage, I might have been able to do this. The range! Okay. Torpedoes? I think it's just gonna explode. Okay. Okay, well at least this is back. Almost, but not quite. Okay. I mean, I could just come back to this. What makes sense is to come back to this fight when I just am able to upgrade it a little bit more. But I don't want to spend too much time doing this. It's like I just want to... I can go... Okay, it makes more sense just to get the fuck out of here. Can I do... Go here... Okay, I can't do rear shield. I already have rear shields. Okay. Yeah, let's reset our shields. Where are you going? Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Round 7. Leave me alone. What the? What the? What are you trying to do? Make your sorcerer's axe on me, you stupid. Okay. 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 Let's not lose hope. Okay. I don't feel like this is impossible. Oh no! Wait. Okay, wait. Wait! Wait! I can't go around it? Wait, can I go... Ah, fuck. Wait, can I go... There's like no... Wait. You thought you had me? Ha! There we go. Bitch. Okay. What? Is it really not... Wait, what is the wording on this? I think they might have changed it in one of the patches. Flows of material cause the enemy ship to immediately turn on the ship's maneuverability. If the enemy ship has suffered hull damage, it is about to turn. Does not affect... Oh! Does not affect ships larger than cruisers. Okay. Well, deuces. Let's do... Do that. Okay. That's fine. And then... How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this and not die? I can go... So this says you can... It resets the cooldown on it. Doesn't say anything. I mean, this should reset the cooldown on warp jump, but it didn't last time, so I don't want to risk it. I can just go and do my thing. I can do my thing. I'll do like... Yes, I'll do this.
Torpedoes locked.
Launch some torpedoes. Torpedo. Yeah.
Set the course.
Keep running. And... You have rear shields already. And that should be... Burp. Okay, cool. We do derp. Super speedy. I think we'll be fine. We killed a lot of raiders. Killed a lot of raiders. Okay. Using up shots, that's fine. Leave me alone. Get away from me! Chew! Oh god. Okay. Okay. I think what I'll do, since he's so slow, I think I'll just try to like focus on these guys if that's even possible. I might just be wasting my time. I might be just be way too hard. Boop. Okay. That's fine. They serve their purpose. Oh my god. How far can I go? Hold up. Oh, I can just keep on going. Okay. Like, there's no, like, border of the space I can travel. Okay, cool. Again, that does make sense. But can I do... Whoops! I didn't mean to do that. Hold up. This is important. I gotta load it. The saves come a little bit. But yeah. Seeing things altered. McBean at 99% power. Awesome lore drop. McBean at 100%. Let me know. Yeah! Exactly. Okay. Interesting. But it's like, I'm trying to like wonder if I have enough time to switch over. I think I'll just switch over really quick. I'll try not to be too long. One of the things the skill says you'll learn about doing like streaming is you learn how to manage your time a little bit better. I'm not saying like I have learned that, but you typically do learn it. But let's see here. We'll talk about a little bit about this. So, like, if you're just tuning in, like, more recently, what we're talking about is making ships in the Rogue Trader pen and paper RPG, right? More specifically, we're trying to make a ship that's kind of like Star Trek themed as much as possible for characters or players that are intimidated by the grimdark setting of Warhammer 40,000 for the first time. Because a lot of people get into more... Warhammer 40,000, the tabletop RPG, and they'll be like, I might want to get into it, but I'm not like, I don't know anything about the setting. You know, I can't. It's kind of hard to wrap my mind around how to play. You know, it's so different than everything, so it's kind of intimidating for a lot of people. So the idea is like these exercises is to kind of give GMs, like if you want to get your friends into the tabletop RPG, these are tools that let you to do that essentially. But yeah, background packages. So these add another like tag to your ship, right? I should say that one of the things we're going to have to do, where was profit factor? I think I can't remember where you originally get your group's starting profit factor. Here we go. Starting profit factor. So generally that's way too big. Here we go. Starting profit factor. So it just kind of tells you the difference of being about like starting profit factor or ship points. In the tabletop RPG, profit factor works a little bit differently. It is kind of more less of I don't know. It has like less of an immediate resource feel and just like a general like line of credit in combination like influence you have of like your section of the galaxy. Because in the cRPG, it's just more like another resource that you have something, you just get it. But it doesn't like drive home like how rich you are. I think the tabletop RPG does a lot better, is a lot better, is driving home like how rich a rogue trader is. Like Scrooge McDuck, like levels of like wealthy. Like the first campaign I ever ran, one of the ship components that my player's ship has was like a money vault where they can kind of like jump in, like swim around, and like the Seneschal player, one of the first sessions of the games, the campaign, what he did was he just wanted to expose himself to money. So he was able to use a security check. He temporarily disabled all the security cameras around the money vault, and he went and he like took off all of his clothes and he swam naked in the money, right? And then he like came out and he barely got away with it, right? But yeah, they're in the tabletop RPG, they are like very, very, they're a lot more clear about like just how wealthy you are, right? And I'll go over like there is a chart that kind of explains like how a typical like rogue trader party, if you're like poor, you start off with like, I want to say, I might have to reevaluate it, but it's like, if you haven't already, be sure to like and follow and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. I really would appreciate if you would do so. Kind of a side tangent, tertiary goal. But yeah, like and follow and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch if you want to donate. There are Patreons, there are bits, there are Super Chat's available on both YouTube and Twitch, I believe. And also, yeah, I do stream Wednesday, Thursday night, Saturday, Sunday morning, so feel free to swing on by, contribute to however you feel like it, even just your general presence. But like I'm saying, typical tabletop rogue traders, like the poorer side, have a profit factor of, like, I want to say 25, I want to say. And I think, like, 5 profit factor is like the wealth of a city, right? And I think 20 is like the wealth of a continent, I want to say. And like 25 is like the wealth. There's a city, or city, nation, continent, planet, star system, and then like sector. And like it kind of like gives you kind of like a rundown of like how wealthy each, it gives you really good understanding like how wealthy you really are, right? Let's go back over. I don't want to spend too long away from the cRPG, but Saint Exalted. PDFs. Would you like to share the title of those manuals on the Discord so I can reference them later? Yeah, of course. Let me see. Let's see here. I got a bunch of Discords. Here's mine. Give me 1 second. I'll do under like games, I suppose. Games. Let's see. I'll say. Hold on 1 second. Rogue Trader PDFs we were talking about during today's stream. Rogue Trader core rulebook, Into the Storm, and we will be talking about Battlefield Chronos. But I haven't really went over there just yet. Chronos, I think that's how you spell it. So we'll do boop. I don't know why I do this, but emphasize what I'm saying. Okay. So there we go. Go back. Why is it not saying Discord? Hold up 1 second. Discord. It's being weird. There we go. Cool. Cool. Yeah, let's go back to the game. What was the mistake I made last time? I think I did like a warp jump or something. Let's see here. Let's do the thing that I want to do. Cool. And just keep on running, I guess, because I can go here. Wait, I can't do unavailable. I don't know why. It's like so close. You know, it's actually, this is probably the best lane I can go, because like I think his long range weapons, he's not going to be able to get to me through that angle. Boop. And boop, 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 boop. That's not going to help me. Yeah. There's no way. He's not going to be able to reach me, right? He shouldn't be able to reach me. Fuck! Okay. Oh, I think my shields took it. Okay, wait, save. I think my shields took it. Hold up. This is gonna be like so much like time I'm gonna spend on this. Oh yeah, rear shield. Yeah, okay. Reinforce. Let's see, and then I can't reset my shields yet. Okay, that's fine. 2 more turns, great. Okay, dupe. And do boop. Okay. Get a torpedo out. Go all the way here. Okay. That's, and we'll do another shallow jump. Whee! See ya, sucker. Okay. Yeah, this is essentially what we're gonna do. Chip them down a little bit. Can you actually make it? No, you can't hit me from there. Wait, you can't... You're immune to your own things? Man, I feel like I'm wasting my time. Ah! Ah! God damn, like, okay, I feel like I really am wasting my time. If I lose, I'm not gonna reset the battle. La 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 la. Can't really do much, can I? Boop boop. Is this gonna destroy it? Do 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 do. Like right here, I suppose. And okay. Oh wait. Yeah, it doesn't really do much. How much I can do, really? Okay, reducing the cooldown on jump. Like, if I slow down the turn for my guns, then he's just gonna kill me. But I figure that I can, like... I don't know, man. I don't think this is winnable for me. I'm probably just wasting my time. Because the thing is that I could probably kill the raiders, because I can kill them with a warp wave. But, like, this guy, I would have to get behind him in order to have any chance of really killing him. Not to say it's impossible, but... And there's, like, no debris. There's nothing I can hide in. Maybe I should just, like, load. I don't want to wait... I don't want to use up the entire screen... or stream. You know what I'm saying? I'll do a couple more turns. We'll see if anything changes. But... yeah, there's nothing much I can do. Actually, you know what? I'll keep this on standby. Boop. Where are you going? Oh, come on! Come on! You wanted to go into that warp storm. Oh, hello. Okay, that's fine. Barely anything. Okay. Okay, well, at least I have a shallow jump. Let's do... boop. Let's do tactical cowardice. Oh, wait, I can do this. Shields. And then, yep. And I can do boop.
Lay in the course.
Why does it make me turn? Oh, whatever. Okay, and then we'll do, like... yeah, I guess. Like, so far away. Okay. Say the exalted. So are the space wolves real? Like, is like the whole thing like there's no wolves on Fenris? It's one of those. If you're talking about there's no wolves on Fenris, then I would say that they're probably leaving it. It's one of those things they kind of just leave up in the air for you to decide yourself. But I would say that. What is it? They have like Fenris is kind of interesting because they do kind of have like actual like warp entities that are like influencing the development of the society, like legit like warp entities, right? Like they have like what was it? There's like the wolves of like the like in the Horus Heresy series, Russ meets with kind of like the was it that warp entity was kind of like he considers like to be like the judge of the dead or something weird like that. I can't remember the exact details of it, but like I would say. Like the whole thing is just like it's a thing to ask. Like, are the dire wolves that are on Fenris, are they originally just like space wolves, right? No, I would say because I think that like it sounds like the dire wolves that were on Fenris, like they existed before the space wolves became a legion, like when they were just like planet side. And Russ hadn't rejoined the Imperium yet. It sounded like there was still like dire wolves. Like dire wolves did exist at that point in time, but and plus they haven't really followed up on that little blip. I think it's just kind of like something that they just said in like the introduction to like one of the books, and I don't think anyone really mentioned it or alluded to that fact like ever again in the Horus Heresy series, to my knowledge. I think it's just like I think the fan community is making there are no wolves in Fenris more of a thing than it actually is. But I don't think that all the dire wolves are just originally space wolves. No, I don't think that. I think it's more like if we're talking about like there are no wolves on Fenris, is like maybe the dire wolves are a manifestation of like the warp entities they kind of call Fenris home. I mean that would be more likely, I would say. Okay, I'm gonna lose my torpedoes no matter what. Okay. Can I do? Yes. Oh, cool. Okay, I'll take it. A little bit of extra damage. Kind of sneeze. Can I do? Okay. What's the best thing to do? I can do... Wait, can I do... I can't do jump? Okay, let's just do... Boop. And... Yeah, reinforce rear shields. I definitely feel like I'm wasting my time. Like, it's like very unlikely that I'm going to actually kill the capital ship. Yep, nope, 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 no, 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 no. Okay, round 13. Jeez, be Jesus. Okay, can I do... actually, hold up there. Save. Okay, get that. And then I can do boop, boop. And yeah. Boop.
The time has come.
And shallow jump. I'm so fast. Later, sucker. I wish I could just like flee, because I like in like a tabletop RPG scenario, like they would never be able to catch me. I think if my players were in this scenario, they would probably, like, our ship is not going to win against this, so let's figure out a way to, like board them and destroy their core or something like that. I briefly mentioned this in another stream, and, like, I don't know, it's not really necessarily relevant to what we're talking about, but I'll just repeat it again. Like, in this scenario, like, if you want things to go off the rails in your campaign... atomic bombs are purchasable in the Rogue Trader tabletop RPG, right? They're rare. I think they're like very rare, right? But it's like that's like nothing. If you're like a wealthy Rogue Trader, you can definitely get your hands on an atomic bomb if you really like. If the players set out to do so, right? So, I think like if you really want things to go off the rail, atomic bomb, and then it's like they can load it onto their in their guns and fire it, and it does a decent amount of like one-shot damage. Or they can take a shuttle with an atomic bomb and put it at the heart of their ship and try to do a little quest to like destroy the entire cruiser. But the thing is that like the chaotic side of me would want to make sure that like if they start using atomic bombs over and over and over again, like there would definitely be a chance for them to accidentally set off their atomic bomb and kill themselves. I would, and like atomic bombs, like the way I handle fate points, like fate points are like a reroll resource and a avoid death resource for the most part. And but in my campaigns, like you can only burn fate points in order to avoid death if it's logical that there's a scenario that you would have been able to avoid death. But if you're caught in like the center of an atomic blast, I would rule that you cannot use fate points to avoid death, because what are you gonna do? Like the ship is going to explode and you're just going to be floating out there in space. You're like, I missed. I rolled. Okay, anyways, did they destroy, wait, I had a torpedo, right? Did they destroy my torpedo? Oh, whatever. There's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. Hey, you're going through your own warp storm, man. Uh-oh. I'm like wasting the entire stream doing this combat. I know I am. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then next, I'll wait for this guy to settle next to this guy and I'll explode him. But I still won't be able to... You know what? Wait. I think... Will that work? I was thinking maybe what I can do is... I can... Shields. So, 126 shields. I can do a swing run, right? Swing run, turn around, and save up my shallow jump. Like go forward and see if I can go behind him when I get the chance, right? And then disable shields or blow out shields, and then it probably still wouldn't work. I don't know. I'm wasting time. I know it. Okay. Not really. Oh, here we go. Boop. Boop.
Annihilate them.
More torpedoes. Yay! Okay. Boop. Shallow jump. Later. Okay. What up? Can you just give up, please? You're no fun. You are really no fun. I can kill that thing. I feel like I want to wait until it gets close. I'm really wasting my time on this guy. Can I just... Wait, so swing run. Swing run. I'll wait. I think I'm gonna probably just... I'll wait for the shallow jump to recharge. And I'm gonna try to do like some sort of like swing run thing. See if I can kill him. What you doing? Okay. Warp wave, just kill it. Okay, don't have to worry about that guy. Swing run's not ready yet. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Try to get right in front of him, right? Or kind of. Shield pulse. Okay. 48 old points. Is this even possible? Probably not, right? There's no way. Okay. Shit. Okay, wait. I think I actually might have fucked up. Like he knows that I actually used my strafe. I'll save my torpedoes. Can I do? No, I have to use strafe. I think I can. I don't think it's gonna hit me, is it? Probably. I think it might actually hit me. Okay. Oh my god. Thank you. I think he might actually be able to hit me. Yeah, he's gonna be able to hit me. Maybe? Yep, I'm dead. Or maybe not. Fuck you, dude. Okay. So... I could do... Wait, can I do... Let's see here... It makes sense if I can do boop. Can I do swing? Actually, let's see. Can I do that? I'm just gonna like be aggressive because I can't keep this up forever. And I'm definitely like I'm losing.
The time has come.
It's okay. We're just gonna try to be big and brave. Okay. So that's it. Yeah. See what we can do. God damn. Nope. Okay. Okay. So can't use that. I can use... Oh, fuck. I think I'm dead. I think I'm dead. Because I can't do strafe. No. I can do, yeah, I can do this. I'm fine. Okay. Couple things. So, boop. Okay. So, kind of try to limit the shields. Oh wait, can I do? Yes. Well, let's save. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to win, but let me see if I can just do this. So it's going to be overloads enemy shields, redistributing them with the weakest side facing the flagship. So that would be port side. So 126 is what I would have to do. Deal with. So shield pulse. Okay, so with that said, then I can do... Almost got through the shields. Okay, got through a little bit of it. And... Okay. Actually, you know what? I might be able to... Let's see. Boop. I'm like, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to go... I feel like... Can I go this... I'm not sure if this will graze the warp storm. Let me save, just in case. Okay.
Set the course.
Think I'm good. Okay, I don't think... I don't know if this would have made a difference or not. Whew. I'll be very surprised if I win this fight. Okay, save. Okay. So... I need to stay behind him in order to have any chance of surviving. So what can I do to do that? I can definitely do... Save. I want to save again. I feel like it's like, at the back of my mind, I feel like I can win this fight. Because if I stay behind him and just use my weapons... If I get behind him, I can use both las weapons, or lance weapons, and I can destroy him that way. So the front of his ship and the left side of the starboard has the less shields. There's no way I'm getting in front of him, though. Okay, can I do... I can do strafe. Well, I think I need strafe no matter what. Unless I can do... I think this will take me in here and then I'll have to move forward. So I think I'll have to use strafe no matter what. I wonder if I can do... I feel like I'm at a load. I'm going to try something. Because I think if I warp jump here, and if I do hard turn, then I should be able to... I mean, probably not. I feel like I might be able to... No, he'll build... I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna risk it. I can just load it. Okay, so then we do... No, it's not gonna... It's gonna make me go through it. How much damage does this do? Is this gonna instantly kill me?
The time has come.
Okay, it's not gonna... Oh! Okay, that was bad. Let's load. Okay. Okay. I just wanted... I wanted to see if that was even an option. Okay. So... Let's go back to our tabletop discussion. Tabletop discussion. So, where were we? We were, because we're, okay, for those of you joining us a little bit late, we're trying to design like a Star Trek themed or essentially Enterprise D from Star Trek The Next Generation themed vessel, right? Or as close to it as we can actually probably get, right? So first thing we focus on is what our group's starting profit factor was, right? Let's see here. So do I have my dice roller program in here? Hold on one second. Dice roller. Dice roller, where are you? There we go. Okay, so in the table we have to do starting profit factor in ship points, right? So I don't know if it's like something you want. See, would I want my party to be able to select it without rolling it? I think I would make them roll for it just because it kind of helps you kind of design. It helps you kind of like push your creative energies in a certain direction. If you have to like kind of like decide stuff on the fly, especially during a table. Okay, so we take a D10, right? We roll it. We see what our Captain Picard from last week. We made Captain Picard in the character generator, and we'll see what Captain Picard's profit factor is going to be for his dynasty. Okay, so D10, roll. So he rolled a 3. So 3 on this chart. So he starts off with 50 profit factor and 40 ship points. I'll probably write that down somewhere. 50 and 40. Which is okay. The example it actually gives is that it's a good ship and a wealthy purse, promising great things for this dynasty. So profit factor, in order to use it, generally, if you're buying something very, if you're buying something difficult to achieve, you would take a D100, 2D10, you roll on the ground, and you would have to get under a 50 profit factor in order to buy it, right? That's something difficult. But if you're buying like just a buttload of like las guns for your troops, right? Or like augments like we were talking about at the beginning of the stream, then it would probably be like plus 20. So you'd have like a 70% chance on like in normal circumstances in order to buy like just a crap load of very common stuff. So you're like very, very wealthy, right? So ship points is what you use to build your ship at the beginning of the game. Any unused ship points you have at the end of ship creation turns into profit factor. I think it's 1-to-1, but I'm not 100% sure on that, right? So let's see here. Select equipment. We have to go to the ship. We'll go actually into the storm, right? Because we want to do that first. So we'll read this off and then we'll go back to the game. So we have background packages that are able to kind of like tweak your history of your ship a little bit more, right? I think there's another chart that lets you kind of tweak your backstory of your ship a little bit more. Bethelian Explorator Vessel, okay? So this background package is the start of the task of the Explorator branch of the Adeptus Mechanicus. This is what we were talking about to Saint about early in the stream. The task for the Explorator branch of the Adeptus Mechanicus is to search throughout the galaxy for relics of humanity's dark age of technology. To accomplish this, the Explorators are granted vessels specifically crafted for their brethren. Vessels equipped with the most powerful secrets and technologies that the Mechanicus possesses. Although the Mechanicus may use a myriad of variety of basic hull designs, the end result is always designed and suited primarily for exploration. The Mechanicus prefers to use frigates and light cruisers, tougher vessels with long legs. They can delve into the darkest corners of the void and handle whatever they find there. The famous disciples of the Magus Thule, I forget exactly what Thule's backstory was. I think it's more like he was just a famous Adeptus Mechanicus explorer, rather. Are no different than their fellow explorators. A century ago, their mentor... Oh, here he is. So Thule explored and cataloged the Callisto sector. Okay, I see. So it's not the Callisto sector when it was the Callisto sector. It was the Calyx Expanse. So, but I don't think he cataloged it, but he didn't discover it. Following his example, his disciples were the forefront that pushed the chart routes through the warp zones, closing through the Cronus Expanse. Many explorators were lost, but when the mall was finally charted successfully, the disciples were there, delving deeply into the unknown in their quest for knowledge. Now, centuries after their heyday, the disciples of Thule are smaller and more insular subsects of the Mechanicus cult. However, their vessels can still be found throughout the Cronus Expanse, waiting to be salvaged and repurposed. So this is kind of like your ship at one point was an explorator ship. Its cost, you can use one of the ship points out of 40, right? Frigates, light cruisers, and cruisers may take this. So in Rogue Trader, especially in Battlefield Kronos, I think it goes up to like it goes up to, it doesn't go up to battleship. It goes like battle cruiser, I think is the largest ship you can actually get in the RPG. But I think I did stat out ships that were beyond battle cruiser level that players could potentially encounter. I did in my camp, in my head canon too. It was transports, raiders, frigates, light cruiser, heavy cruiser, uh, battle cruiser, battleship, battleship, and then super battleship is something I had in my own head canon. And then there's like specifically like stuff that are like, I think the super battleships. I don't know if those are like the things that are given to like Space Marine chapter masters and stuff. You know, they're like the like planet destroying, you know, ships that I can actually, they like churn the warp around them. They're so like big and like massive, right? Anyways, that's a little side tangent. But Explorer Augury, the vessels and Mechanicus supplies its explorators are inevitably equipped with boosted auspexes and auguries that better aid them in the mission. Add +10 to the ship's detection, and when working towards an exploration objective, I'm not a big fan of the objective system. I can actually talk about it in a different stream, but the players earn an additional 50 achievement points. I'll say, essentially, Rogue Trader, the only system that I wasn't particularly fond of is that they have a system where you kind of plan out like a job of what you want to do, and based on the equipment you have, like you're not considered like you finish it until you have enough achievement points in order to get it. Even if you like role play it a certain way, it's just like it's not considered to be done until you get the achievement points. So what would happen is like generally it's like the players would be very smart and they would have a lot of equipment but not enough equipment, right? And they do something smart that would make sense for them to just get an early start and just finish it. That's what generally happens. So like as a GM, you're like, well, it doesn't make any sense that this goal is not met. So you just give them achievement points anyways. So the whole system kind of like falls apart, right? I think I had a bunch of house rules to use. There's the ship components that give achievement points. Like it gives some other benefit, essentially. So Wealth of Ancient Tech Vaults. The Mechanicus have, so essentially like the Explorator ships are better at scouting and using their sensors, right? The Mechanicus has access to some of the Imperium's oldest and most advanced technologies. And we might actually pick that. The ship has access to and must be equipped with one Archaeotech component. Some of the shipbuilding process, they give you, they allow you to pick Archaeotech components, which are just like souped up better versions of typical components for like void ships. Rerouted power. Explorative vessels do require vast amounts of power to be rerouted into their boosted auger systems. Reduce the ship's speed value by 1 and maneuverability by -5. So maneuverability is like how well you're able to turn your giant city ship, since they're like miles long. Sometimes it's like, even if like the bigger, fatter ships, you can do like ship combat and like people are able to get behind you and you just can't like turn. It's just like in the cRPG, really. But yeah, this is a good thing. It's only 1 ship point. It gives you boost your sensors and gives you a boost to your speed value, which can be pretty good. Especially since like there's some models of ships where it says you can't augment the ship's speed past a certain point, like transports. But you could like do like +1 speed value is actually not that bad. But let's go back to the cRPG. So, where are you? Okay. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so we didn't want to do that. So you. Yes. And we are doing, oh, barely. Okay, that's fine. I can do, hold up. No, I can do something like this. Hold up. Boop. Yes. I can't do shield overload. Okay. And yes.
This one's going down.
Okay. So I can do boop. Can I do? Do I have enough for? I don't have enough for ram, do I? No, I don't. That's fine. Okay, got a good hit. And then I can't do shallow jump. Okay. Let's hopefully they won't kill me. Yeah.
Another hit and we will be drowning in the void.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna... it's like... I feel like there's a scenario like if we got a lot of misses early in the combat, and we're able to keep our second ship up, then we might have been able to finish this. I can just come back later, though. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it's a lot of like time to like devote to like one battle. How much time do I have, anyways? Probably I wasted so much time doing that combat. I'm sorry. I felt like it's like you see something and you know you can actually do it. Oh. Fine. Guys, I love you guys. I just want to say. You guys are amazing. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like and follow and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. Really would appreciate it if you would do so. Current goal is to get 1K subscribers over on YouTube to help grow the brand, so to speak. I do stream Wednesday, Thursday night, Saturday, Sunday mornings. And if you do want to contribute, plenty of different ways to do so. Like I said, subscribing, liking, all that jazz. Both YouTube and Twitch. I do stream both at the same time. We do have super chats. We do have channel points, all that stuff. We do have Patreon if you want to donate $1. I don't really have anything complicated set up just yet, but if you want to throw $1 in there every so often, that definitely helps. Every little bit helps. And just jumping in every so often, if you just want to like chill and like hang out, you don't even have to say anything. You can be a lurker if you're not really a talkative person. Totally fine. I just want to have like a very strong, welcoming community. On Sundays, unofficially, we do unofficial Warhammer 40,000 Sundays. And most of the content, like I said, I try to do more off-the-radar games. It's stuff that like have interesting gameplay experiences, like old retros that need a little bit more time in the spotlight. Then say like indies that could be highlighted a little bit more. Modded gameplays that kind of like redo the game, like how it plays. So those are like interesting gameplay experiences you might not have thought of like checking out before. That's the kind of like goal of my channel, and you know, just hanging out too. But yeah, you appreciate you guys and everything you do for me. Woo, 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 woo. See, instead of dying, we get 50 experience. There we go. Cast giants. Woo, 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 woo. We got. Ooh, hello there. Focal emitter, MK Soldier. So bionic eye. Whenever the user performs a single target attack against the target within a 3-cell radius, they may make a burst shot with this augment immediately after. It deals 5 energy damage with 31 armor penetration. I mean, if you're using like shotguns, I can see that being pretty good. There's probably like really fun like there's another Warhammer 40,000 game that I used to love to play. It was Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor, and there's some like really fun. It's kind of like a Diablo 40K, right? It wasn't like the best game out there, but you can have some really interesting builds. Like you can have like a like the assassin class is just mostly like running and rolling and stuff like that. But you can do something like have like an automatic shotgun. It specializes it so like I think if you tag someone with a shotgun blast, you get another shotgun blast or something weird like that. So you're running around just like ba 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 with like a shotgun. It's just fun, right? So that's kind of what it made me think of that. Yeah. The augurs have detected an unusual anomaly, a planet surrounded by a huge asteroid belt. Okay, that's not too unusual. Seasoned voidfarers say it was most likely torn apart by tidal forces, and they suggest exploring the rings to obtain useful information. Yeah, that sounds fine. Perform a detailed scan. The planet around which the asteroids are orbiting is incredibly radioactive. Okay. The closer the shuttle gets to it, the more they will be irradiated, and the only safe option is to gather anything useful that is far enough away from the exposed core of the retroplanetary body. Sure, that's fine. Send a scouting party. A short time later, scouts report that a cavern-filled asteroid with a giant vein of valuable metal inside. It'll be hauled to the flagship immediately. The tech priests serving on the shuttles do not recommend drawing any closer to the core. The death of the pilots from the radiation will inevitably lead to the irrevocable loss of sacred machines. Yeah, that's fine. Flock is done. That's the way I can still... Oh, I can send scouts? I mean... So it's just, like... sending him for no reason. Like, there's no... I guess if they're advising me not to, I guess I just won't do it. Flockiston, huh? Leave the planet alone. The shuttles are returning. The voices scout pilots reporting over the Vox channel are filled with fear and secret relief. Yeah. Begin scan. Boo, boo, boo. Look at that beautiful planet. Hopefully, I'd be very happy if they actually made a Rogue Trader 2. That'd be great. Or just another thing set with like Rogue Trader. Add like a little bit more resources into like how planets look, like cutscenes. That'd be great, really. Begin scan. Ocean World. 50 experience. Oh, we can... Is this still the same thing? Can scan. 50 experience, okay. It's like nothing here so far. Space dust. So we haven't really found where our ancestor went. That's not fun. Where are we going then? So... I'm not really sure where to go. For the DLC content. Because I'm trying to do more like just plain DLC content if I can. We might not have enough time to finish the Enterprise this stream. But at least I can kind of like tell you about a little bit about the ship generation side of the pen and paper RPG. Okay, so blah. I can do a shortcut here. Chart the course. You know what? Why not? Do a little bit of a shortcut. Deadly. What am I doing? Unsafe? Yeah, that's fine. That's a lot, but okay. Warp travel. During the warp voyage, the middle decks reported strange gatherings that were attracting dozens of officers. An investigation quickly bore fruit. One of the acolytes from the Augur deck has proclaimed himself a prophet and is rambling about purification by blessed fire. Only the perilous influence of the warp can explain the strange convictions and the uncanny zeal of this person. This was a prophet. Ban the cult. Lord Warp. Put the cult under surveillance. Yeah, can I, like, try to get some, like, heresy points from this? Put the cult under surveillance. Spies reported the cult gatherings were hardly worth investigating. They were nothing more than long conversations punctuated by people searing their palms over an open flame. The surveillance was maintained until the end of the warp journey, after which the newly born prophet simply forgot about his calling, stopped giving sermons, and dismissed his congregation. Okay. Oh, what? Okay. Why did it take me all the way up here? Weird. Chart? Okay. Let's visit. Beep, 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 boo. Yeah, I was thinking if we ever did do like a third campaign of Rogue Trader, I would want to try to... Because with the mods, you can actually make like a bunch of like navigators. You can make a navigator character. I would like to do that. Just like a navigator ship. But the difficulty I'd have is to make it difficult, you know, because if you had like a party full of navigators, like they're just gonna I-beam everything and like kill everything, right? But I don't know. I would like to check it out. I would like to do it. Master Helms and Ravor. An unidentified object has been located in the system. An unidentified object has been located in the system. The artifact reacts to our transmissions by releasing unknown radiation, most likely of Xeno origin. The cogs are reporting. If you want to get a closer look, we need to get close to the distance between the vessel and the object. Okay. Sure. Oh, is this the ring? Okay. Whee! Okay. What time is it? We will... I don't know if I'm going to do necessarily a longer stream, but I'll try to get a little bit more like tabletop talk in before we end the stream. Whee! Whee! Lord Captain, you okay? Whee! Hulk? What we got? Ship components. Cool. In scan. Get this Promethium. Do I need Promethium? I do not need Promethium. Cool. At first it looked like a snowy and desolate planet was devoid of surprises, but the yellow and orange flickering of lumens and notifications from the auger system informed the officers there's a small colony that survived in spite of the harsh climatic conditions. All attempts to hail the colony have failed. I'm not sure if this is a trap. The explorators report the dismal condition of the settlement and its inhabitants. Their skin is translucent and pale. Their icy blue eyes see particularly no color. Their language is rough and guttural, and their stomachs cannot tolerate anything except a stew made from local roots and mosses. And yet they are subject to the Imperium, still loyal to the Emperor. They have mistaken your people for his emissaries. I don't remember this from last campaign. Find out what happened to the world. The local elders woefully reminisce about times long gone. Many of them were still sheltered in their mothers' wombs when the snow first settled on the verdant fields. Hail ruined the crops and the frost hardened the soil. Plants and large beasts that could not sustain themselves were the first to go. They were soon followed by birds and other small animals. Most people in large cities perished, unable to warm themselves and their families. They say the governor and his entourage left the world in the first day of the winter, taking all the provisions and fuel with them. No one responded to pleas from the dying world. And the stars remained deaf to the messages transmitted by the planet's Vox stations. These abandoned subjects of the Imperium still managed to save their machines and other valuables, but they were of little use without a supply of Promethium. And those that survived eventually adapted to the tribulations of the God Emperor that had bestowed upon them, taking machinery from the colonists and abandoned them to the freezing world. Give the fortune people, give the Promethium, and send the tech priests to perform rites of generated maintenance. Yeah, let's take over their resource. So, not abandoned, but so we're going to give them some fuel. That's fine. When the maw of the first generator belched forth a furious roar and black ash started falling from the sky instead of snow, the locals laughed and danced, trying to warm their limbs after a decade of cold. They called down blessings upon the unseen savior, a rogue trader from the House Teawhistle, and thanked the God Emperor for their fortuitous encounter. Nice, okay. I will accept your offerings. The explorer's departure was accompanied by shouts of grateful approval, not to mention their many parting gifts. It's too bad you can't make this into a colony. That'd be fun. It's kind of cool. I'd like to kind of revisit that, but I guess not. Not an option. Oh yeah, okay. So this is one of the warp gates. I think this is the warp gate we use later in the campaign. Look out, bridge. We have an unknown object dead ahead. This is... I want to show you guys something after this cutscene. Look out, bridge. We have an unknown object dead ahead. Not an asteroid, clearly artificial in nature, but it's larger than the Footfall Station. Copy that. Reported relayed to officer on duty and pilots. Look out. Expect visual soon. Bridge. We have a visual. What the... Look out, this is Voxmaster. I'm adding the pilot, senior officer, and Lord Captain to this channel. His Lordship wishes to assume personal command. Look out. Lord Captain, we have requested intel on the object from the Augur Array Module, awaiting the response. So, Webway Gate. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of something different. So it is a Webway Gate. It's not like the Warp Gate that I was about to go on a long rant about. Yes. This is your Lord Captain on the line. No need to engage the Augurs. I know exactly what this is. It is called a Webway Gates. Officer Station. Van Calix here. What we see before us is a Webway Gate, an artifact that Xenos used to get to their sorcerer's realm, so to speak. It allows Eldari to get around the sector quickly, and it serves as a hideout for the most unpleasant tribe, the Drukari, whom we have already met. Officer Station, Earlet here. The gate is just like the one you saw in Leathon. The children of Asuran wander the void through such constructs erected in ancient times. Any ship that passes through such a portal will enter in a tangled path unfathomable to no one but my kin. Is there an Augur report? According to the available data, the object consists of an unknown material, foreign to the, so Wraithbone. We are registering the unknown class of energy profile. The engine seers are at a loss about how this technology works exactly, but they did specify that ergonometry suggests that the system is holding an active charge. The object appears ready to do whatever it is designed to do. Okay, so it's an active warp gate. What is the senior officer's take on this? Van Calix here. What we see before is the warp gate. You're like here. Blah blah. Can we activate this device somehow? Requesting a response from the engineering. Apologize, Lord Captain. The tech priests have refused to even consider such a possibility. It would be a violation of the Omnicide tenets and extremely dangerous undertaking. Bridge, perhaps a certain companion of yours could... Officer Station, even if I knew the secrets of this gate, I would never surrender to the Monkey. The Webway is our kin's sacred refuge and deadly trap to those such as you. So even if we were able to open it up, we don't have the coordinates. I think in the lore, there have been Imperial factions that have been able to use the Webway Gate. I don't think anything's not canon anymore. Like, everything's canon in the 40k universe. That's why I love it so much. But, because, like, the Black Library, like, the repository of forbidden knowledge and, like, Warpcraft that the Harlequin Eldar have, is through the Webway Gate. And I don't know if you have to have an escort from the Harlequins in order to do it, but people, like, Imperial ships have traveled through the Webway. Okay, so originally I was going to go on a lore talk about how this is, because there are multiple warp gates in the Chronos Expanse, right? And they look somewhat similar to this, a little bit thicker, right? One actually leads to the other side of the galaxy, the something reach. I can't remember offhand. But it's the setting for Deathwatch RPG. It's kept very highly secret to the Greater Imperium at large, right? But this is going to be a Warpway Gate. But the Webway Gate. So Webway Gate goes into a realm that's between the warp and real space, kind of like little tunnels and like safe havens, right? The Eldar can use to get around They don't use warp jumps. They use all these gateways in order to get around the galaxy, right? We're not going to blow it up. I think Captain Guppo is trying to keep his relationship with the Eldar strong for his dynasty. So we're going to leave it alone. Changing course. Okay. Okay, got it. Got it. Yuda. What was I saying? Anyways, I know there's one main warp gate in near the Maw. Like, there's a passage that you go through. Instead of going from Calixis to Kronos, you take like a hard left, right, whatever. And there's a secret passage that actually leads to a warp gate that actually takes you to Jericho Reach, the Jericho Reach, right? Which is on the other side of the galaxy, right? So there's another one. I'm pretty sure there's another warp gate that you encounter in this cRPG. So it implies it's part of a series of networks. It doesn't take you to the other side of the galaxy. It takes you to another part in the Chronos Expanse. The thing about them, I have a theory, that, like, because if you go to the east, Galactic Northeast, you go into not the Halos, the Ghoul. I think it's the Ghoul Stars. I want to say, and the Ghoul Stars was where it's in the Galactic Northeast. The Ghoul Stars are where they fought the it's on the tip of my tongue. There's the Imperium when the Emperor was around. It'll pop back into my head. I'm not sure why I'm not remembering it, but the Imperium back in its heyday when the Emperor was still around, it's stronger than it's ever been. It encountered a Xenos empire that was actually able to nearly annihilate the Emperor, like the Imperium. And you gotta expect, like, the Imperium now, I don't think is considered as strong as the Imperium was in that moment, right? Like spread throughout the galaxy, and I don't know. Not really. The alien race that's there, right? Why am I blanking on it? It was I don't know what I'm blanking on. If anyone knows in chat what I'm talking about, let me know. But that race, I think I have a headcanon theory that race actually designed the warp gates to, because they're not webway gates, they're warp gates, right? No one knows why they're in. No one knows who designed them. They're not Eldar, they're not Necron, but they're probably part of a faction of aliens that could travel the entirety of the galaxy. And I think this is gonna drive me insane. I think I have to look it up. But what was it? It was Xenos, the Ragna. So the Ragna the Ragnan Xenocides was where the Imperium at its strongest was almost destroyed, right? Now, I think I've talked about the Ragna a few times in the stream, but it's my theory that the warp gates that are here are from the Ragna, because I think it would be part of a network of like galactic travelers, an empire that actually had a comparable strength to the Imperium, Eldar, Necrons, stuff like that, who can also like travel the galaxy, right? So also, they're described as having a lot of like flesh constructs and like being able to, there's like servitor races. So a lot of the races in Kronos kind of bears a similar description to what the Ragna had as servitor races. So I think like Kronos actually has a lot of ties to the Ragnan Xenocides in a way, which would be interesting if I'm going to do a little strut if they actually like confirm my theory at one point in time. But like there's like the Uvoth. The Uvoth are kind of like these kind of like gooey, like weird, like nebulous non-humanoid Xenos race that actually controlled the Callistics Expanse and the Kronos Expanse before the Imperium took over, right? And it's my theory that the Uvoth were one of the servitor races of the Ragna. I think I talked to Ross Watson on one of his streams. He was one of the designers for the Rogue Trader pen and paper game. It's like he said that wasn't when the people in his team that designed the Uvoth. He says that like that wasn't something that they were thinking of when they designed it. But he said that he likes that theory quite a bit. So I don't know. We'll see. I think that that's good. It's in my headcanon that's the case. But there's a lot of like there's a lot of technology like flesh crafting technology around Kronos that kind of like had hints that it was like related to Ragna. But anyways, I thought I'd share that with you again. I'll probably go back to it again. Let's do scout a couple more star systems, and then we can actually end the stream. Dangerous. Save. Your Lordship, the esteemed Genitor Ferenz requests a Vox audience. It concerns the manipulous Furbus and the experiments he is conducting in the Sector Bionica. The janitor speaks rapidly, his words almost merging into an indistinct buzz. Lord Captain, operations in the Sector Bionica have practically stalled. Janitor extremist Jogan Ferbrus is unilaterally experimenting with the implantation throne, drawing motive force from the compartment circuitry and thereby hindering proper administration of the augmentation rite. What exactly is he doing there? I mean, he's in charge there. He can do whatever he wants. Analysis. Ferenc pauses briefly. Insufficient data. A high influx of the motive force to the Sector Bionica's implantation throne has been detected. Violations of the catechism of maintenance and operation have been recorded, along with the restricted access for other tech priests. However, the rank of life... He's part of my retinue, so you can go outside the typical dogma. However, the rank of the life forms designated Jogan Ferbus is too high to be impeded without intervention from a life form designated Lord Captain. Pascal. Attesting. According to the logs of Sector Bionica systems, Janitor Jogan Ferbus is undertaking unauthorized use of the implantation throne contrary to its design purpose. Recommendation sanctions imposition of a techno-penance combined with temporary rank reduction. Idira. He's playing with death, in fact, your lordship. He's trying to catch it, but it runs away from him. Okay. I think Captain Guppo actually does... He listens to Idira the most, I would say. But he'll never leave him completely. I thought I was cracked in the head, but no, that tin can must have bigger problems than me if he can't decide whether to live or die. I guess this desires my attention. I am heading there immediately. We'll be waiting, Lord Captain, on the side of blessings. Okay, interesting. Depending on how long this takes, we might actually end it after this cutscene. We'll see. We got a lot to do. A lot of housework. Or, I could play video games all day. Yay! Hooray! Let's see. So I'm not for sure if I should swap over to the PDFs or not. It's like almost there. I should probably just get like a new solid state hard drive to help with all these long load time games. Go. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are you doing, Jogan? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I don't know. Oh, he's on the operating table himself. Okay. The implantation throne stands before you in all of its glory, illuminated with discharges of the motive force. A massive body is laid upon it, and it takes you a moment to realize it is Jogan. Nuncius, I am in complete agreement that any interference with the function of the galvanic abdomen will lead to acute hypertension. I have this situation perfectly under control. A fatal outcome has been excluded as a possibility. Jogan stares intently as the vid screen attached to his neck. Okay, all of his body cavities have been carefully opened. You watch the crimson pink lump of his augmented heart as it beats in his chest, and you see the faint flickering of his galvanic cell through the whitish film of his petronomium. Okay, cool. Yes, Nuncius, I'm sure. This guy, man. I'm sure. Now, propagate the motive force with the offering of the second galvanic hymn, conducting the rite of voltage multiplication. 10% steady. 20%. Everyone's eyelids close and his head droops limply at his chest. Okay. Okay. He's just trying to operate on himself. Can I just go like booga booga booga? like just scare him and like kill him? A moment passes and the generator draws a shuddering breath and startles back to consciousness. 20%. Hypertension, momentary loss of consciousness. The motive force is surging uncontrollably. Additional portal clavicle shunts are required to propagate it and compensate for this excess pressure. Well then, you were right, Nuncius. Abdominal extraction is impossible. This is an uncontrovertible fact. Okay. Do not interfere or wait. What would we say? I think he would probably say something. Fascinating. I've never seen such operations performed on oneself before. Ewan smiles throughout the pain. I must assure you that you've never met a genitor of my caliber, Rogue Trader. The procedure is utterly trivial. If one observes the rituals of vivisection in the operational convents of the Omnissiah. Do not interfere and wait. Several manipulators... Oh, I think I need some water. Several manipulators dive into Yogan's gaping abdomen, extracting from his depths a small lump of maroon-colored flesh. You see the genitor's skin, rapidly pale and parchment white. The only thing now keeping him conscious are the discharges of motive force crackling throughout his body. Splenic extraction. Okay, you got your spleen. Nuncius, this is truly fascinating. Blood flow slowed, and the load on the main arteries had fallen dramatically. I classify my current condition as pre-mortem. Viably minimal. Okay, so he's about to die. Got it. Flip the Throne Master switch. What? Oh no! You can kill him if you really want to. Your methods are highly original, Yogan. What experiment are you conducting? I'm currently engaged in the study of determinacy and existence of my amalgam individuals. Your presence will no doubt enliven the discussion of my dearest colleague and I are having as I work. You've caught Nuncius and me about halfway through our disposition. Determinacy and amalgam individuals. What, is this related to a previous experiment? Naturally. This is part of my path on the quest of knowledge. This is the creation of Trio Somata was. But I've taken a different approach in my current experiment. You do know that the Secta Bionica is suffering because of your research. Oh, as soon as I obtain my answers to the questions, I will rise from this throne and restore the motive force to the compartment. Rest assured. And I now beg for another pause, Rogue Trader. I must excavate the heart implants. Yeah, you know, pull out your heart? Okay. You do you. Nuncius, gladly monitor the fluctuating of the atrioventricular... Can I say this? Atrioventricular node. If you would, please. One of the flexible mechanotrons delves deeply into Yogan's chest, carefully extracting an augmented heart. Yay! The throne's machine spirit instantly erupt in a cacophony of alarms. You count no less than 30 beats of your own heart before the pulsating organ is returned to its owner's chest. The ashen shadow of death slowly leaves Yogan's face. Praise the Omnissiah, Nuncius. This is what we've been searching for. A 30-second interval is optimal for removing the organ without causing dysfunction. Nuncius, is it possible to tell whether the Servo Skull shares his colleague's excitement? Oh, Nuncius, you're so crazy. What we got here? Cool. Yogan. You know, the little dangling feet. You're silly. Risk of fatal outcome. The risks are negligible when what is at stake is crossing the limit of death itself. Both of my attempts to create a Trio Somata have failed, and so it is necessary to apply a different methodology. He turns his clouded gaze to you. Your thoughts on this matter interest me greatly, my colleague, so let them flow freely. Awareness has succeeded. Wait, you mentioned 2 attempts. There was another Trio Somata? Definitely deduced from my deliberate vagueness in my last thesis. Yogan tries to smile, but winces in pain as the throne's manipulators, obeying the will of ancient machine spirit, begin to return all the extracted implants to their previous positions. You are correct. The one you and I created was the second attempt. The first was the starting point that whetted my thirst for the mysteries of the machine. That is the organic body. A most fascinating story. Nuncius' telling of it is most engaging. Nuncius' account remains a mystery to you, safely hidden behind the grin of your interlocutor. His energy flagging, Yogan sighs. Yes, Nuncius, perhaps the story is indeed too long for our current circumstance. But enough of lyrical digressions. I have since made significant progress in understanding the wisdom of the Omnissiah, and the failure of both Trio Somata procedures will remain merely another setback on the path to comprehension. Elaborate on your thesis, Yogan. Why is vanquishing death so important to you? Because if a machine as functional and multifaceted as the human organism ceases to exist, all practical meaning of it is destroyed. Yogan's large hands grip the edges of implantation throne, their knuckles white. I have dared to fathom ways of prolonging life precisely to preserve that meaning. The operational limits of organics can be overcome, we already know that. The annihilation of flesh and mind averted, the function raised to absolute. Death is what sustains the Imperium. This is true. I kind of feel like I know where his storyline is going to go in the DLC. He glances at the serval skull, but what life is what propels it forward. This is an incontrovertible fact. Let me hear about Nuncius's position. The serval skull is as silent as always. Yes, dearest colleague, you are certainly correct in asserting that death is the natural and inevitable cessation of all life processes. The genitor presses his lips together. But that is not why the Omnissiah granted us the gift of reason to ability. But is that not why the Omnissiah granted us the gift of reason and the ability to comprehend existence? So we as humans would willingly submit to the natural way of things? You accept death as a fact, but I believe such fatalism is incomprehensible to a servant of the Omnissiah. Do not machines strive for eternity in his image and likeness? Fascinating. Well, I shall readily share my thoughts. Elgin nods briskly, sparing a look at the lines of data running across the data slate. The mechadendrites bristling with needles begin to rapidly stitch together wounds on his body. It's not worth it. You can try to prolong existence indefinitely, but after a certain point, like this is going to be called life. Life is duty, not merely a right. Person must live as long as they are able to bring a benefit to the Imperium. You're all right, Yogan. Vanquishing death would be a triumph of reason and of the triumph of being, born not only by the will of chance, but the will of the humanity. Yogan, it is extremely gratifying that you share my position, Captain. Yogan's sonorous, vibrating voice rings with enthusiasm. A discharge bursts from the galvanic cell in his abdomen, sending blue sparks shattering in every direction. I hope you will share in this triumph with me, Rogue Trader. I will apply myself to my research with redoubled zeal. A triumphant binary hymn pouring out of the implantation through Vox transmitters interrupts the Manipulus' musings, signaling the completion of the procedure. Yogan's anti-grav generator stirs to life once more, and the generator flows smoothly into the air. It appears that the gory experiment he had just performed on himself has had no catastrophic consequences. Nuncius rises after him, a silent shadow. And so the experiment is complete. I deem the outcome wholly satisfactory. Yogan folds his arms over his sizable stomach, giving you a polite bow. Thank you very much for your timely arrival, Rogue Trader. You have given me food for thought that will occupy my unquiet mind for a long time to come, and will surely grant me many revelations in the future. Now I must return to the laboratory and discuss the results in detail with Nuncius. Great. Interesting. Okay, so what I'll do, save, for instance, before we end the stream, we'll finish up on our ship character creation next week. That's what I'll do. But I kind of want to give you kind of a rundown of like ship building in the tabletop RPG. Just give you kind of an idea of what to expect, right? So, boop. So, with that said, Rogue Trader Core Rulebook, like I said, you have Profit Factor, you have ship points, right? So, you have the ship points are spent. You can have different hulls. It's taking a while to actually load, isn't it? Let's see. Starships, Life Among the Stars, components, hulls, right? Constructing a starship. So, So, we have, like I said, we have raiders, we have, as an option, we have transports. It kind of depends on like what if you're building a Rogue Trader team, like the players at the table have to kind of like sit down and kind of design like what kind of shitty ship do they want, right? Not necessarily just in terms of like what kind of military force they want to bring into the world with them, but there is a lot of utility that a ship is going to have, right? The ship's machine spirit is going to give it kind of like its own like personality. So it's a character in the party, right? It's your home, right? You're going to be flying around and you want to kind of know like what you want to do. So if you could be a rogue trader, like trade focused, like rogue trader family, right? You can be, you don't necessarily even have to be a rogue trader in this system. Depending on how you write it, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to like new game masters. But if you wanted to make a non-rogue trader factions, totally doable, right? You can have like an entire table set up to be like an Imperial Navy campaign, which is more like ship focused, and you're like fighting pirates, or the opposite. You can be up like a pirate ship, right? You can all be like fighting Imperial Navy. You can fight different merchants, looting them, getting profit. You can be like a pirate lord, right? You don't necessarily have to be like a chaotic, or you don't have to be aligned to be a to align the chaos in order to be a pirate, right? You can be like all sorts of things. You can be like like we're going to be doing next week. We're going to be making our Star Trek: The Next Generation themed, like Enterprise D themed ship, right? So that would be not necessarily like a raider or a transport. It's probably going to be more of like a frigate, I would say. But like as an example, like transports are going to be very, very slow, but they're going to have a lot of like storage space and a lot of like space for adding like various amenities, right? And like I said, like you can make ships that are like combat specified, or like stuff that is very has a lot of amenities. You can have stuff that has like factories on the ship where they can actually like build stuff. You can build like tanks and stuff like that, and like sell them to other planets. You can build. You can have like if you play your cards right, I think there are transports that have enough. You could probably, with GM's permission, you can probably make a like a large enough transport vessel be almost like a floating star base, right? Maybe you kind of go around, your party goes around whatever area of space you are, and you offer your services just to repair other ships. I mean, that would be kind of like an interesting little plot thread that you can actually deal with. But as an example, like Jericho class Pilgrim vessel, I'm going to pick out a couple different hull types, but there's a lot of different ones in the pen and paper RPG, right? So Jericho class Pilgrim vessel, Jericho. So Jericho, we mentioned this is before it explained what Jericho was, but the Jericho Reach is on the other side of the galaxy, and it was it's a section of space that was has a lot of different variety of resources from it. I forget exactly like what the main trades that they had, that Jericho actually had, but I would assume that, I mean, first thing, probably ships, right? Because I think there's different Jericho pattern stuff in the RPG. So you can kind of assume that it's like maybe warfare manufacturing, but at some point in time, the Imperium, it had to abandon the Jericho sector, because it was an Imperial sector at the time. They had to abandon it just because they couldn't, it was like surrounded by warp storms and they just couldn't feasibly get to it, right? Which kind of like added a bunch of other problems down the road. So Jericho class Pilgrim vessel. So it was made over in Jericho. So it is 2.25 kilometers long, 0.3 kilometers of beam wide, mass approximately 5 megatons, crew 20,000 people approximately live on it, not necessarily the highest or lowest. Accelerations, it accelerates to 1.6 gravity's max acceleration. So like over 1.5 times a typical like planetary gravity, right? They can actually put out in its thrusters, right? The gigantic Jericho Pilgrim ships are converted refinery vessels. Their huge fuel tanks are rebuilt into hundreds of passenger compartments, and a single ship can hold many thousands of faithful. I kind of would like to actually spend a little bit more time, like making a ship with you guys next time. Accommodations vary. For those with thrones, the trip can be relatively pleasant, but most must make do with bilge berths, corpse rations, in the ship's cavernous cargo bays. A Jericho can also be repurposed to carry cargo. The ships themselves are large, slow, and unwieldy. Most use sport some weapons to discourage pirates, though most buccaneers might look for richer targets. So, it is refinery vessels. So originally they're converted to process promethium, maybe away from like planet side, or like they supply like mining operations or like war fronts. So cargo hauler, the vessel was designed for transporting goods, and no amount of retrofitting can fully change this. I would say not necessarily. I'd say that with the GM's discretion, you could say that it still processes because there is a fuel conversion component you can add to your ship. You can say like the Jericho class vessel that you have is still purpose as a fuel refueler, right? Why that's important when you're making your character, like, or your vessel rather, like the players could say like, oh, we're all about like processing different fuels and oils, and we're maybe like there could be like rivers of like like fluids and chemicals that you guys can actually have to wade through. Maybe like some of the side adventures, or like when you're exploring your own ship, because a lot of times like the layouts of the ships um are, there's a lot of like lower decks and a lot of like kind of like crawl space kind of like stuff that's like not on ships, because a lot of these vessels are like hundreds of years old, right? So a lot of your layout is like you can explore your old ship. That can be like multiple different like adventures or sessions at the player table where you're just exploring your own ship and like finding new things about it. You might even find like an entire culture of people, hiding out on a little island in the sea of like fuel, right? Just don't bring a match. But that, like, this is kind of like how you kind of design your ship to be more than a transport, or like ferrying you from point A to point B, but also kind of like a location, like your city, right? I try to encourage my players to think of it, to try to design their ships to be more like a themed city. Like they what kind of looks like on a day-to-day business. Do they have like trains that kind of take it from one area of the ship to another, or do they is there ancient technology? Is it all about like, is it very heavily like Gothic themed, where they have like various buildings and like run down like slum districts that they have to go to? Is there people that are like civilizations that are kind of like, they're not actively part of your crew, they're kind of like renting space on it, and like you're transporting them from point A to point B. So you have like communities that are like own little settlements that are like, you can kind of like, you can't necessarily convert them into like crew unless it's like an emergency. Like there's ancient contracts and all this stuff, really. But anyways, cargo heli, the vessel is designed for transporting goods and no matter retrofitting can fully changes. This hull comes pre-equipped with the main cargo hull component, which is one of the components you can actually buy with your opponents. So essentially, you get a main cargo hull component for free. And the rules as written for the vanilla portion of Rogue Trader are, it gives you achievement points, like I was telling you about the achievement point system a little bit earlier in the stream. It gives you achievement points for like trade and like specific like circumstances for accomplishing goals. There's like a whole like house rule system that I actually got that actually replaces this. But so like it has if you did want something for this as an example, I would like start making a Jericho class pilgrim vessel. I would try to keep the refueler aspect on it. Like a lot of pipes, a lot of interesting little like sluice ways that you can kind of explore. Kind of almost like a water like themed like ship, right? But maybe it has like waterfalls of like, maybe not necessarily highly combustible, but like semi-combustible like fuel, just kind of like flowing around, right? And that'd be like very interesting. Maybe you have to wear a rebreather if you go into certain areas, because you just have like these weird like sections of like gasoline waterfalls and like the kind of like fumes you actually get from that. That would be really, it'd be ridiculous, but I would love seeing like situations like that. I would definitely like push for like a scenario like that in any of my campaigns, right? To give you an example, so it shows like maneuverability, like it's a little bit harder to like steer, has detection, how much, like +5. We were talking about the +10 bonus you can get from one of the background packages earlier. So you can get like a Jericho Pilgrim vessel, like a fuel hauler that actually can do good scouting. And that's actually pretty good. I mean, you can use your augers to dissect like a lot of different things. Turret rating, it's like when like torpedoes or like fighters are coming, you want your little gunners to be able to shoot them down, and it has like penalties to those torpedoes or fighter squadron skill checks in order to damage your ship, essentially. Space, it says 45. I think that's fairly decent for a ship. You have a lot of components you can like slap on into it. Most so like I think most components have like, I want to say like typically like 1 to 3 like SP, like space. Well, not SP, ship points, like space in order to like take how much they take up on a ship, right? Some components I think will have up to 5, if I remember this right. I might be wrong on that. I feel like I'm wrong. But like that gives you an idea. Like you can like slap a lot of different things in and like really customize your ship. SP is like, so you'd be if you did the people at your table decide to like buy a transport, it would take like half of your what we started off with like 40 ship points. So that'd be 20, like half your ship points done from this. But I think it's actually not that bad, depending on what you want to do. But let me go over to say, what would be a fun thing? Let's do Battlefield Chronos. Let's get one of the expansion book hulls, and then we'll end the stream. Empowering the Shield, News Humanity, Rules of War. Where are you? New Starship hulls 20. So 20. And you can, in the expansion book, the Battlefield Chronos, you can get like mine layer systems, which are great. You can get stuff that like better quarters. You can get like zoos you can actually build on your ship to like you can get like get all the weird xenobeasts you find when you're exploring the galaxy. You drug them, you put them into your zoo, and you can kind of like, hey, look at that. This teddy bear has like 5 eyes. Nice. So Grand Cruiser, yeah, this is the largest hull point you can actually get. Let's do, actually, you know what? Let's check out the Grand Cruiser, because that's not something you'll necessarily, repulsive class Grand Cruiser. I think that is, repulsive. I think that's like, that is a semi-heretical pattern, because it doesn't have the armored prow. Yeah, let's actually talk about this, because this looks like it's a good variant, an interesting variant to talk about. We'll talk about this really quick. So dimensions, 7.4 kilometers long, 1.5 kilometers of beam at approximate fin. I think it's, we actually saw repulsive when we're doing our Battlefield Gothic streams. I think it has a very like thin belly, right? So it's very flat shaped. In the superstitious and hidebound realm of Imperial starship construction, entire classes of vessel can come from to be regarded as cursed since the design stage. Spacefarers mutter. Oh, well, I should also say that 39 megatons, 134 crew approximately. I'd probably say that there's probably more crew on a Grand Cruiser. Spacefarers mutter that these ships are star-crossed, prone to dragging entire crews with them into the warp at a moment's notice to leave them there with starving or bedeviled until the ship reemerges in the Eye of Terror, ready to serve the twisted lords of chaos. This dark reputation has followed Grand Cruisers of the repulsive class since their inception in the Imperium's early days. So in the near end of the Horus Heresy, when the Emperor's sons rose up to conquer the galaxy-wide civil war, I think that's when these cruisers started getting in production. I can't remember exactly what their deal was, but they're typically Imperial ships have the armored prow because they're always purposely armored more on the front than the rear, because you always want them to go towards the danger, not be running away from it. That's actually like a lore description for it, right? So this dark reputation has followed the Grand Cruiser of the Repulsive class since their inception in the Imperium's early days. A disturbingly large number of repulsives, their original names long lost to antiquity, have turned traitor or been captured into archenemy service since the class became operational. Because a lot of but it's not to say that the Imperium doesn't still use I don't know what you want to call it, like spade style like ship design. Spade style or wedge style. I don't know I'll just call them wedge style for now, but they don't have an armored prow. They're more like flat and they're pointy on the front. And they have a lot of their ship operations near the back. So the bridge is generally designed right here, this little lump right here, as well as the navigator sanctum, stuff like that. So it still has the ship operations near the back and the combat stuff drilled in the front. But yeah, generally, if you see like a 3D model of them, they're more flat and wide than a typical Imperial ship. This is a tragedy, a great tragedy indeed for the Imperium, for these are graceful and powerful spacecraft with radically different weapons fit than all other Grand Cruisers, fully realizing the ancient doctrine of fast and maneuverable heavy warship. Their design cannot be duplicated, as the secrets of constructing powerful enough plasma drives has since been lost. Only a handful of these ships remain uncorrupted, and these are either mothballed, sealed, and guarded in the reserve fleets, or various segmented fortresses are under command of certain rogue traders. So SP-69. Can you actually get 69? I think you can. You have to roll for it. I think it's a hard roll to get. But you can get like really shitty profit factor and then get like 70 ship points. So that is a possibility in order to get a Grand Cruiser. You have to be really lucky in order to get that. And it would be really bad. And you have to really talk it over with your GM and see if this is something you want to do. Because Grand Cruisers are going to be, they're going to be your definitely your main ship throughout the entire campaign. No doubt about that. Hull integrity 85. That's really good. Armor 19. That's really good. So these things are able to take like huge, they have like almost more, yeah, they have better storage space than a transport. They have turret rating 3. So remember the old one, the transport only had 1. So it's like a negative 30 penalty for fighters to actually get through to actually attack the hull itself. Hull integrity 85. That's giving you kind of like an idea of it. I think the other one was what, like, it wasn't 70. It was like 60 or 50, wasn't it? Can't remember. Actually, I can probably just look it up. Actually, no, I can't. Never mind. Never mind. Well, no, I can't. I can't even look it up. Jericho, hull integrity is 50, so it's almost double what the transport was. And the armor, if you get certain builds, which can help with either, because generally the way combat works in like the Rogue Trader pen and paper game is that you use, it's not necessarily like the cRPG, because you use your macro batteries, your like broadsides, to overload another ship's void shields, because the void shields are there to like negate like stellar debris. They're like kinetic. They absorb kinetic energy, and they're good at absorbing lance fire, but they can be overwhelmed. What I'm trying to say is that like they're good at absorbing like a lot of different hits from like supporting them. So like a lance weapon that shoots just once is not necessarily going to get through to the hull itself. So generally what you want to do, what I'm trying to say, is that you pepper a ship with enough broadside fire to down the shields, and then you use your lance weapons, which can carve through armor. Because you don't want to be fired necessarily. I mean, like it's 19 armor is kind of hard for a lot of broadsides to actually get through in order to deal with this. So if you have something that's like not a whole ship that's under like a Grand Cruiser, it's like under a Grand Cruiser or a Grand Cruiser, like those guys are going to have like anything less than that is going to have a very hard time actually destroying a Grand Cruiser. You can just like tank anything. Also, the weapon capacity, we didn't actually talk about that, but it tells you how many slots you have for weapons in your various parts of your ship. Now, port 2, starboard 2, you can have, it depends on how you want to situate your ship. Like if you want to have like a combination of like lance and macro batteries, you can do that. You can have just like there are macro batteries you can mount at the prow, right? So there's prow dorsal. So you have 2 like front facing weapons you can probably do. Offhand, I would probably say it's better to do to have the option of like like crazy firepower for your lance weaponry. So I would say like maybe do like one layer of macro batteries on the side, and then because there are weapons you can get that are macro or they're lance batteries. So they're just like rapid fire lances that you can get. They kind of work like typical broadsides, but they can also bypass a certain amount of armor, right? So like to build this guy, it's going to be mostly like it's going to be mostly like combat. You want some of these guys. You can also add on like additional hull plating and stuff like that. Like a lot of the stuff, like unless you're like in like epic level games, like you're not going to find something that actually like challenge you. I think like a lot of GMs, I would probably recommend against, if you're a new GM, letting your players take a Grand Cruiser, unless you're just not really, because like even like I don't know, man. Like, no one's gonna really like be able to tell you no, right? Like, if a bunch of players are lucky enough to get a Grand Cruiser, like you want them to get this when they're already like established. But like once they get this, like no one's gonna tell them no, right? They can annihilate like any planet, like a continent with this thing, because like you have, you can do two lance weapons, and lance weapons you can actually with like a good sensors, you can target like continents, and you can like glass like a continent with a Grand Cruiser, right? But Grand Cruiser, this ship can use cruisers only components. So cruisers only components are generally a little bit stronger than other components, but they cost a little bit more like power and space in order to do it. Cursed. The advanced experimental warp drive of the class creates unusual harmonics that can cause the Geller field to flicker momentarily during warp transit, escalating navigational difficulties. All navigation tests carried by the ship's navigator during warp travel take a negative 10 penalty. That's bad. Like making it hard for your navigator. It's already kind of hard. There's two warp travel systems that the pen and paper game actually has. One is a little bit more forgiving, but it's still deadly, right? But it's really easy to get lost in the warp, which is like, that's how it is in the lore, right? Like sometimes you have a fleet of like ships that go to a battlefield and they just get lost in the warp. They never come out, right? But yeah, it's especially like early game, like navigating, you want to be as easy. Yeah, actually, I don't know if this is actually a balance. I'm kind of wondering if it is, because negative 10 penalty for your navigator, like at the beginning of the game, that can kill your entire party potentially if you're not careful. But maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I still think like it's getting a repulsive Grand Cruiser at the beginning of the game. That's pretty strong. Ancient Grand Cruiser. The older types of Grand Cruiser were finely balanced. As such, a vessel may not gain any components that increase the ship's armor. Okay, specifically done that. But it is good, like, stats overall. But if I was building this, I would probably say, how would I do this? Because you have to say that, because they were made at the end of the Horus Heresy, right? They don't necessarily have an armored prow. It doesn't really say that, though. It doesn't give any stats to elaborate on that. I would say that I don't think that depends on how the characters want to build it. This is definitely a combat vessel, no matter how you like spin it, right? I would say that there's probably like a story elements that make the Grand Cruiser want to fight. Like it's like maybe something going on with the machine spirit where it's a little bit bloodthirsty, because it is. Or I would say I don't want to make it like it's secretly a chaos ship. I wouldn't want to do that to a player base, but I would say that maybe it's just like a stubborn Grand Cruiser. Like it's just definitely like it's kind of maligned by a lot of the Imperial Navy just because it doesn't have the armor prow. And maybe sometimes it might get you into like trouble because Imperial Navy officers might not necessarily recognize your call sign or the mast of your ship. They just see the model and it looks like a chaos cruiser. They might just attack it outright, right? So that can be like difficult to work around, right? But I would say that like a ship like this probably has like maybe like ancient like secrets, or kind of like, I would say, time away from the Imperium. Like they don't necessarily, they have to, it's a self-reliant weapon into itself. Like this machine spirit doesn't easily get along with others. So if you have like a fleet of ships for your players, maybe like have like some penalties for that. I would say maybe like you have like a lot of old like stellar cartography, like stations you like find in like the ruins of the ship, or like they're like libraries, like old places to explore. Like the ship, it just like give you a sense that the and like not a lot of damage, right? I would say like since it's so strong, like it's like the king of the jungle, right? It's kind of been going around, so you have like a lot of like old like ruins and stuff you can find on the ship, but all of them are like fairly intact, and like just like a lot of secrets of like places that it's been, right? Maybe like old grudges that the ship's machine spirit feels it has. So like it like certain things like it has like a quarry that it's always wanted to hunt but never was able to like kill. Maybe the machine spirit will try to give you penalties unless you go after its quarry, you know? That's how I kind of like do that. But anyways, yeah, that's good. That was a good talk today. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week we'll be back with more Rogue Trader, and we'll talk a little bit more about. We'll try to generate our Enterprise D, and yeah, guys, camera. I gotta work on my lighting in this room. Anyways, guys, tip of my hat to you. Thank you guys very much for attending my stream once more. You guys are all amazing, beautiful people who deserve all the love in the world. Don't forget that. If you haven't already, be sure to like and follow and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. Really would appreciate that. We will eventually be cycling out Rogue Trader for Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2, because I do miss that a little bit. And yeah. Saint Exalted, please give me a shout out to my Space Marine 3 team, the Baby Sharks. Baby Sharks! Shout out to the Baby Sharks. Wonderful. Do you mind if I clip it? I don't mind if you all. Baby Sharks! Yeah, Baby Sharks! You're so amazing! Yeah! I love Cacarodons also. Love it. But yeah, guys, have an amazing rest of your weekend. I will talk to you later. Have an amazing week. You're going to do good. You're going to do great. If you have a busy week at work, don't worry about it. The weekend's just around the corner once again. But I'll talk to you later. Love you guys. Have a great day.